Hello, everyone, and welcome to Fabulous Tuesday. We have a few critical pieces of information to talk about today.
How about that? Has Flesh and Blood not woken up?
Well, I was going to say the most important thing to talk about is the acquisition of Twitter. Elon Musk.
Oh, yeah. Thank you for
of course, that's why we're here on a Fabulous Tuesday. Just kidding. That's the last I'm going to mention of that. We're not going to get into the weeds. A few things have happened.
So want to spike the ball at the start of the stream?
Let's get right into it. Left, right. Let's talk about politics, the whole gamut. No, this is not going to be that discussion. If you want that, I'm sure you can go find that somewhere else on the internet.
Or find us at a bar one night.
Now, if you're watching this like 20 years from now, genuinely,
this is a classic Zach Bunn here, by the way.
I would love. Last time I did this the first time I think I did this was an L5R video back before we streamed.
Yeah,
on the learning L5R. Yeah,
I'm still getting those comments.
Yeah, and I was like, yeah, if you're watching in 3 years, that's not long enough. It's really not long enough. If I say 20, hopefully you're not the person replying to the comments 20 years, or maybe you are.
Maybe hopefully I am. Maybe that's true. Wouldn't that be nice? You know, YouTube will be gone by then. It'll all be in our brain or something.
But if you are actually watching this 20 years from now, so 2042, and YouTube is still a thing, and or Twitch, I guess, but YouTube, and I just want you to comment. And is Twitter still around? Is that even a thing? What was the verdict on Elon Musk? I just need to know. All right, now back to Fab 2022 current timeline.
Let's start in the chronology.
Last Tuesday,
and it seems like such a non-factor. This whole banned and restricted thing was like, it's like old news now. It's like, who even cares? We got Uprising spoilers now. It's like banned and restricted. That was a year ago.
Yeah, so a week ago we were testing, and the big three at the time were Starvo, start of the show, Prism.
Yeah.
And Viserai.
Pull up the announcement. Yeah.
That was the conversation. And we were going into last weekend. Big Colin in Taiwan.
Yeah.
Star of the show had to win that event in order for him to Living Legend out. We also had a couple Battle Hardens. Yeah. And he had to win at least one of those to have a chance. There's one more Battle Harden, I think, in Pittsburgh this coming weekend where you can earn points. And so that was the big...
But we'll get there.
Yeah. And then the assumption was a week from today, we were going to get the new banned restricted announcement.
Yeah.
In which case, then there's 10 days from that moment until the Pro Tour, and then we get to see what's what.
Yeah.
That was the beginning.
So let's talk about what actually happened. Starvo did win Taiwan.
He did. But
surprise. On a weird DQ cheating thing.
Man, did you see that?
Interesting.
Did you scope that out?
I did. Yeah.
That's not... you know what I'll say? Here's what I'll say.
This is from him?
Inside joke.
Is that what
Inside baseball there. What I will say is I am very... it's unfortunate that happened, especially because I feel like Legend Story did a really clever move in making that event really have an impact on the rest of the Fab meta. Mm-hmm. Going into a ProQuest season, he has to earn the points by May 2nd. Yeah. Everyone's watching. That didn't start till like 1 a.m. on Saturday. I watched the first game of the top 8 at 1 a.m. Mm-hmm. Wanted to see what the top 8 was, what was going on. After the first game, I was exhausted, so I decided to go ahead and go to bed.
Quitter.
Woke up Sunday morning. He'd already lost a Battle Hardened that was for some reason on Friday in Taiwan.
And it was like necessary. He had to win a certain amount of Battle Hardens.
Well, he had to win either that one or the one happening...
Is it Madrid?
On Sunday or maybe remember. The same day. So, but I think going into the event, we knew he couldn't do it.
Yeah.
Because the Battle Hardens had already resolved and Prism had won and whatever it was.
Yeah.
But woke up on Sunday morning to find out that Starvo had won 100 more points on that old Living Legend board.
Yep.
But had done it in a bizarro way, which is in a lot of people talk about. But the thing that I was satisfied with or pleased with.
Here, I'll show you. Let's just here. I'll demonstrate it. We'll do a little top down.
So like, I don't know, let's say I'm starting the show and I played a Crippling Crush.
Yeah, and then I'm like, okay, choose which cards you want to put on the bottom with the Oakenol.
So I'm gonna point at these two.
Yeah, point at this.
And say, that's the one you're keeping.
Okay.
Just put anyone you want.
Right, you just throw it. It was weird. It was like, why are you looking? I mean, it's like, because you do get to look at what's going to go under.
For Oakenol.
So it was like, look to like, and then it was like, okay, I'll redo them and then put these two under kind of a thing.
That's exactly what happened, which is unfortunate, but it was caught. The judges paused the game.
Make you a better Fab player, though, for sure.
And went to the break. And yeah, if you can just pick, but
when percentage goes up,
you know, there's a lot to say about that moment and whatnot. But the reality is, I was happy with how the situation was handled.
Yeah, dude. Boot.
Game was paused. Go to break. Come back. Interviewing the winner.
Yeah. Boot.
Game over.
Yeah.
Don't cheat.
Don't cheat. You get the boot.
Just unfortunate.
But that's forever ban. Hopefully, I don't know how they're going to handle all that.
Unfortunate situation. And then going into Sunday, talking with the old wolf pack, right?
You're talking with the wolf pack.
I was talking with the wolf pack.
Is this officially a wolf pack update then?
This is the wolf pack update. Yeah, let's get the wolf pack update. So wolf pack update. We were talking on Sunday, and we knew start of the show couldn't Living Legend out. We also knew the new band suspension list was over a week away. So we're like, all right, well, I guess sleeve up your Starvo decks because we may as well start getting reps just in case he doesn't go anywhere. And then who knows what's going to happen.
Yeah.
But the energy on Sunday was low.
Yeah. Because like Starvo's now in the pipeline, and it's like, well, we're back where we started.
Starvo's in the pipeline, and like before, this was if Starvo hits these events and hits the Battle Hardened, and he's gonna rotate out. That at least gives us energy to start testing as though he won't even exist.
Yeah,
which is there's energy around that.
Yeah, it's exciting. Right? It's
but when you know he's gonna stick around, my feeling was they're gonna do something to him.
Yeah.
But we don't know what or how much. Mm-hmm. And if they're doing something to him, are they also gonna do something to other people?
And you gotta wait until like May 4th or May 5th.
Yeah, May 2nd. May 2nd. So it's low energy. But then what proceeded to happen in the next 24 hours was maybe 24 of the best hours in Fab history, honestly. It was just back to back to back.
It was, wasn't it? It was a slammer.
Yeah, because actually before that, on Friday, they posted that Icelander article.
Yeah.
Which showed the awesome. Do we have the new Icelander?
Yeah, we got new Icelander, right? We got
Icelander?
What do we call new Icelander?
Well, she's got like a Icebind or something.
Ice of Queen of Ice Stormbind.
Let me pull it up.
Icelander Stormbind. I think is right. Yeah. So it's like a storm character.
Yeah.
Like X-Men Storm.
Dude, I think she looks awesome. Let me find that article. Where's it at? There it is. Journey into the Forgotten.
I think you know what happens on that Fab homepage.
Look at that.
Every time I feel like I go there, they have just shuffled the articles. It's like there's not a chronology to it. I can never find anything.
I actually agree. It's almost like you don't choose the article chooses
like how
you.
Is like look at the order here.
Well, so like what's interesting is this Journey into the Forgotten doesn't even have the card images, so I have no idea where I'm going.
Yeah.
You know where I'm going? I'm going over to the Flesh and Blood Discord card reveals channel. Where
we can get to the nitty gritty.
Yeah, that's really what we need. If you're there's a Flesh and Blood official card reveals channel. They put all the new cards there. But going into Taiwan, they're calling Taiwan all these Stormbind, Icelander Stormbind.
Yeah, Icelander Stormbind.
They posted
incredible art, man. They are rocking it.
Yeah, they posted previews. So going even more excitement. Now we know there's an Ice Wizard in the set. Yeah. This is crazy. But then two things happened that were really awesome. They kept posting previews, and we'll talk about those in a second. But they posted that ban and suspension list a week early.
Out of nowhere.
Just out of nowhere.
Which it goes to show you that they can do it anytime they want. Which goes to show you that scheduling it is an absolute waste of time.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean,
I don't know. Maybe I'm old-fashioned.
It's not a waste of time for Living Legend purposes.
Right.
So if Living Legend only applies when there's a ban suspension update or a new set comes out,
yeah,
the timeline actually matters.
Yeah, but as we can see, it can happen at any time.
Right. Which because Star of the Show couldn't go, no one can go on the Living Legend list. Mm-hmm. So instead of giving it until May 2nd, the reality is they don't need to anymore.
Yeah.
That was the reason for that timeline.
Makes total sense.
But then it also means that they were listening. A lot of people were not enthused by how short of a time it would be between that and the announcement.
Yeah.
Especially in a situation where we know Star of the Show is not going out. Kind of like I said, there was a low energy in the old Wolfpack.
Yeah.
Because like, well, what are we even supposed to be doing right now? So then posting that earlier, I think was very good. And we can get into that announcement in a second. But then they followed that up with announcing the new set, Uprising, and just like unbelievable amounts of information and excitement getting dumped on us, which I'm super excited to talk about.
Let's talk about that. Let's talk about that banned and restricted announcement. What that ultimately means.
You pulling
there's a lot of hot takes, out there on the internet from various players and pro players and excitable types. But let's look at what actually happened. So Classic Constructed Awakening banned. Boom. You know why?
Does that make you happy?
Oh, it made me so happy. They almost hit it with Skeleton too. They almost got there, but it wasn't quite the clean sweep that I was looking for.
It got close though.
So why is Awakening banned?
Let me tell you.
Why was Briar's Earth ability changed? Why is Drone of Brutality banned? Do we see a pattern? Can you identify the through line of all of these effects?
Something about infinity.
That's a good place to start.
Our friend Buzz would have something to say about
ultimately, what these effects are doing is they are destroying the fundamental exchange that is flesh and blood.
Your choice of words there is so funny to me. It's like, it's not just like a breaking, it's like destroying, devastating.
Well, that's so we can title the video Flesh and Blood Bans Destructive.
Yeah, or you can make like those YouTube clips you've been making where it's like, they destroyed the game.
So there's a fundamental first principles, right? This is how the game of Flesh and Blood is built on it. And it's very important that they stick to these because it's a very tight system. So when you start getting wild, things get wild because everything else is so tight. So when there's an outlier, it's really an outlier. And the simple thing is like with Drone of Brutality, you shouldn't be able to basically be able to infinitely block with a card. It should have a cost to it. It has to eventually disappear from your deck, or this whole idea of running out of fatigue and pitching. None of that matters. And that was laid bare by like the Ninja block everything decks from the early days. Ninja Turtle, as it came to be. Sasha Markovic, the pioneer there. But then you look at Briar, and it's like, the more that I hit you, the easier I can defend. It's like, that's the whole opposite of the whole game.
Yeah, because inevitably, to send a power offense back at Briar, you have to have taken damage.
Correct.
And in which case, they can just block you, and that pattern can continue.
It would make it impossible to pivot, as, of course, the fella says.
It's like
And similar problem with Awakening, right? It's like, the more that I do damage to you, the better you get at just, it's a crazy effect. Search for anything, and I undervalued it when it was first spoiled. There were rightly some people who were like, yo, right when this card is previewed, is like, this is the most busted card in Flesh and Blood.
Yeah.
It wasn't for a while, but in theory, you were all correct, and you deserve a lot of praise for that.
Practically why that was the case is because Oldhim, the only character that could use it, it was inherently anathema to his entire approach to the game.
Right.
So very defensive hero.
Be damaged.
Yeah. So he wants to not get damaged. So it's essentially a blank card most of the time. And even when it's not blank, his most powerful thing he can do with it is really an Okanold.
Yeah.
Which is only super powerful if fused.
Strong,
but even an Okanold while fused, if you're an Oldhim town, isn't enough.
Yeah.
To like. It's on the high end of good, but it's still not like breaking the game.
On the high end of good is nice. Yeah. So basically what this means is that if you're an aggro deck and you're able to successfully implement your game plan against a control deck, like somebody playing Starvo a little more defensively, if you're able to actually utilize what your deck's trying to do and succeed, you're punished for it. Mm-hmm. And it's difficult in a game like this to have the competing halves, offense and defense. One of them succeeding, leading to the other one getting more powerful, is going to be a problematic exchange of value, I think, always. So Awakening is banned, great. And it's not suspended, it's banned, which means it is a fundamental flawed card. So we're out of here with it.
And I actually been saying this for, when people are asking what I would do in the current environment, I've been saying ban Awakening the whole time.
Now, but what could you possibly mean? Because the best Starvo deck, according to tournament results here in the States, doesn't even run it. So how is this going to solve any problems that we're currently experiencing in the metagame?
Well, personally, as someone who likes to play, I don't know, Viserai,
who did.
Yeah, still does, but played Viserai, and my favorite way to play is what you would call aggro with Viserai. And you can also play mid-range.
And that means like aggressive.
Yeah, you want to be attacking. There's an OTK, one-turn kill version, where you actually want to stack up a bunch of rune chants. You eventually pop your Bloodshea Skeleton, you play a Sonata, you do a whole bunch of damage, you get a whole bunch of attacks, and it's this whole thing. But I absolutely deplore that version of the deck. Yeah. Like, I hate it, personally, it's not about what other people choose to do, that's fine. But for me, just sitting there and gaining rune chance and not actually, like, the core tension of the game for me is what cards are you going to use to block, and how does that affect what cards you're going to have access to on the offense.
Yeah. And then you would say that is the core tension of the game. It's not an opinion.
Yeah.
That's a fact, but that's where you and I are different and why I get into trouble sometimes.
So much trouble. But that's the thing I enjoy about this game. So if you're not actually going back and forth, and like I had a game, the ProQuest I won in Edmond, my one loss on the day, I lost 40-0.
Yeah.
I was playing at Starvo. I was going to OTK. I got to 22 rune chance. I'm ready to go. I just did not see Become the Arcanite or Sonata.
Yeah.
Like, and he kept churning, and then killed me. And it was like, well, that was fun. I sat here and gained tokens, and then you did attacks I couldn't block.
Mm-hmm. Nothing. This is like top-notch interaction.
It's like, what are we doing? Like, why are we here? Anyways, so the thing about Awakening is, if you play like they don't have it and they do, it can be really horrible for you.
Mm-hmm.
And if you play like they do have it and they don't, like, you're kind of, there's not a good choice. So Michael Hamilton did not have it in his list, and it makes sense because he was playing a much more defensive version of the list, so he doesn't want to take damage.
He wouldn't be behind. He was just playing old him with Starvo.
So the first cycle through the deck, it's a blank card. So it's actually not that good. But now knowing that you can't possibly have it, like this morning I was doing testing, and I was using Briar in to start the show, and like there were so many turns where I was 5 to 8 health ahead. And in the past, that would have been, oh, I'm going to play this card, go get a Pulverizer, Crippling Crush, then use my Bravo ability, play it for free, and now it's...
And just totally, like, instant pivot.
Totally pivot the game.
Back on the...
And they can do that off of, like, no cards. So, like, on their turn, they pay 1 for Crown, have 2 floating. You use the 2 floating to play Awakening, and then you fuse it with an Earth card and create a bunch of Seismic Surges or whatever. And then they need no cards in hand on the turn that they're sending a Crippling Crush you for 11, which is just, like... To block for 9 and still Crippling Crush?
They've got to have the fuse cards, don't they? Or do they not even play it?
To get the Dominate.
Yeah, Sometimes you just send it.
Sometimes you just send it. Or like a Pulverize for 14, right? It's like, you have 4 card hand and a card in arsenal. You pitch a blue to Crown, 2 floating. Now you have a 4 card hand. It's like, you can Awakening for 2 fuse, block with 3 cards. Mm-hmm. So you're blocking 9 plus the Crown, 10. And also sending a Pulverize back for 14.
Unbelievable. That's a mid-range dream right there.
Or a Crippling Crush, right? And if it's Crippling Crush, they can't just take it. They usually have to block with 3 cards.
Yeah.
Or they take it and lose 2 cards anyway. So it was just very... Its mere existence made aggro player like a Viserai. Because he could also play OTK at the time. We'll come back to that in a second. It made the existence of it mean... my best odds are to play OTK.
Yeah.
Like, even into the defensive version of the deck, OTK is actually even better because they don't want to just be swinging at you.
Yeah.
They want to be filtering cards and to be pitch stacking and to be paying Rune Chance to put on the bottom of their deck and, like, this whole thing. So it just meant that the statistically correct thing to do was to not play the game and to just OTK.
Especially because 99% of Starvos had Awakening in it.
Yep.
And so, like, even thinking about your sideboard strategy, your Starvo approach has to honor that, like, the vast majority of Starvo games, even leading up to a top 8 or a final, until you know, you have to just assume that they've got it. So you've got to play differently. Yeah, and then I think Michael Hamilton it was an incredibly smart decision to both play Starvo defensively and also play it without Awakening. Yeah.
Because when you're playing it defensively, it is kind of blank. But if most people are playing like you have it anyway, you get the upside without ever having the downside.
And it's way easy to be defensive when they're unwilling to go full gas because they think you can Awakening them in response.
Yep.
So then you're just like, oh, well, I can just block easily then.
And there were a lot of moments in the aggro matches where I have you on equal health maybe. And I could swing my Rosetta Thorn or I could play an extra attack action. But then it's like... Actually, the 4 damage is not worth the risk that you get 8 free Seismic Surges and then come in with a free Crippling Crush.
Yeah. Like, that's so crazy.
So I'll actually just not swing, right?
Yeah.
Which there's nothing wrong with. I actually like that kind of a choice where I know that swinging gets me ahead on damage, but it could come with downsides. But that is such a downside. Like it's unimaginable, the amount of downsides. So all that to say...
Awakening's banned.
I think Awakening being banned, it's just a problem card.
It's great for the whole game.
I also think it creates the worst feeling moments where you can win the exchange, which is the fundamental, the fundamental way the game's working, and then be penalized for winning the exchange.
Yeah.
it just kind of feels bad.
Yeah, that never feels good, does it? Okay, so then the second part of this is, okay, well, the ultimate, let's say Hamilton Starvo deck, isn't affected by these changes. So the initial response from a player base would be, okay, you got rid of Awakening, that's good. Maybe that'll give us a little bit of a leg up on Starvo. But the reality of this is like, this still looks like just an incredibly solid control deck that maybe nobody is good enough to beat consistently.
Yeah.
So then we suspend all Autumn's touches.
They gone.
All Earth, it's essentially Earth 3-block attacks. Right there it is, Autumn's Touch.
2 things I'll say.
Okay.
I love the suspended list.
I do too, yeah.
Like, when Oldhim was around, this card's not a problem.
Yeah.
When it's Oldhim and Briar, derping around.
Uh-huh.
But like, but this card, like, it's just a great tool to have where you can temporarily remove cards.
Sure.
Because banning is bad. Like, banning feels bad, especially if it's a card that you like. And if the only reason it's, because like, I won't get into that. The only reason it's gone is because of a particular hero, and you have a system in place where those heroes are going to go away eventually.
Yeah.
This makes so much sense to me.
Yeah. So this, I would categorize this as a very practical decision, not as a very philosophically grounded decision. Like, as you said, this isn't a problem for Oldhim. Yeah. This isn't a problem for Briar.
And this card in general is not even a problem.
The card itself is not an issue.
Like from a value perspective and what it's bringing to the table, this is not...
It's not an Awakening. It's not a Drone of Brutality.
Funnily enough, I was joking in one of our morning chats on the Wolf Pack, which is... I was like, I mean, there's these cards in Fab that are kind of the underpinning of decks.
Yeah. And
you don't really recognize their value, but 5% of the time or 10% of the time, they're the right card for the job. Mm-hmm. And the other 90% of the time, they have a role in every hand. Like they're the role-playing cards, right?
Yeah.
This is an Earth card for star visibility. It's a resource for pitching. And it's a 3-block in the event that you're just on a block-out kind of hand. And it's a 3-cost attack, which means it's another attack that you can use for Star of the Show's ability. So it's kind of just hitting on every axis of what that kind of a deck would want to be doing.
Yep. But we come back to the fundamental principle, which is that this card is not problematic. Mm-hmm. What is problematic is the Starvo hero card.
Yep.
Period.
Which is an interesting reality.
So when you look at, again, this is why I think philosophically, if you're a game designer, a game developer, and you're saying, man, the real problem is right in front of me, it's Starvo. It's the way that we printed this card. It's bad. We should not have printed it like this. And the fix to that is to suspend 9 cards, or essentially 3 versions, 9 copies. So 3 cards that are totally fine, but because we printed a bad hero ability, they became potentially a way to remove some of the potency of that hero and doing some collateral damage along the way. Philosophically, that is the wrong decision. It's just ban the card or errata Starvo or early Living Legend and solve the problem, the actual problem. But I think the practical decision is, listen, all Starvo needs to do is like win like a tiny something else.
Anything.
And this is all gone anyway. And we don't have to admit, like, I think there's an admission already that like, yeah, this is too strong. But we don't have to like throw our heaviest handed approach to this card. Instead, we can just like wait, a month probably that it'll take to win a Battle Hardened or a Calling or something.
I mean, so we have Pro Tour and the Battle Hardened.
Yeah.
And then we have a Pro Quest season.
Yeah.
Before the next set even comes out.
Yeah, so at some point, Starvo will win something.
Yeah.
And I think the idea is that this suspension is enough to make it beatable, but still definitely capable of winning first at one of these events. Giving the points, allowing the first official non-technicalitied Living Legend to happen. No early, no little shenanigans. And then everything gets unsuspended and life goes back to normal.
Yeah.
So I think it is a practical decision. I hope it's enough. I mean, those cards are relatively easily replaceable. You lose some defense value, etc. But you can find Earth cards that will fill that slot.
Yeah, for sure. I think another piece on that is worth just practically understanding as well is we have this coming weekend a Battle Hardened in Pittsburgh. Mm-hmm. We have a Pro Tour coming up. And while I do agree that I think Star of the Show is the problem, and, in other circumstances, maybe banning him is the right choice or an errata to him. And, you know, I think if he was at 500 living legend points right now,
Yeah.
they may ban or errata. Because like they did with Briar, right?
Yeah,
and so errata. She's like halfway. You don't want her to take 6 more months to go out, but you also don't want her just being the cap on the game for that long.
Yeah.
But there's the practical reality, too, of like this is a deck that I think a lot of people have bought the cards to play and have been playing. And so if you ban a hero outright, and actually, not if you ban him or make him unplayable, then you could have a situation where, oh my gosh, Viserai trying to get me. You could have a situation where this may be the only constructed deck someone has.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden it's like, hey, I know you're planning on playing the Pro Tour in 3 weeks, but like...
That's a good point.
You're going to have to just totally buy a whole new deck, let alone learning it. But like, some of these decks can be expensive too. If you bought Crown of Seeds...
Dude, Starvo's...
He's loaded.
Big. Yeah, that's crazy. You got all the hits.
Yeah. So anyways, I think that is another thing just to keep in mind. And in general, I would way prefer the answer always be... The heroes are the most significant part of this.
Yeah.
Because the heroes determine the class cards that you own, determines the equipment that you own, all the way down the line. So if you can suspend... And I think this is going to... We're so used to the opposite, where the only tool is banning or errata. But the suspension list to me is such a great way, just like we have class pockets of cards and talent pockets of cards, to basically not make a card unusable.
Permanently gone.
Yeah. But also in the event that you recognize that there are just some cards that are you could temporarily take away that won't have that much of an effect on most decks, but will have a major effect on a deck that's too much right now. That just seems like a really clever... And you have an answer for the hero, which is your Living Legend system.
Yeah.
So instead of ever having to ban a hero, I would way rather have a list of suspended cards that ebb and flow throughout time.
But it's funny, too, that we right here is a good example of what we were talking about previously in terms of what could be done about Starvo, if anything. And nothing was chosen at that time. But this is a great example of where a restricted list is solving the exact same problem in a better way.
Yeah.
Starvo cannot run these cards.
Yeah, Starvo's restricted. Autumn's Touch is restricted.
The end, right? Doesn't touch Oldhim, doesn't touch Briar. Everybody has the same amount of information they have to keep in their head. Your Briar players are not going to get bamboozled, which they will.
Yeah.
Your Oldhim players might get bamboozled. And it's just like, we all know why you're doing this, so just make it apply to Starvo. Like, that seems like a shortcut to me.
I do prefer the restricted list.
Yeah. But also, suspension is also really good as a general kind of tending mechanic, because it could be that Uprising has a lot of answers to a metagame development that's happening now that's problematic. And so as maybe there's some ice effects coming or some kind of like answers to dominate or whatever in Uprising that are not that stupid Ranger arrow. Timidity shot, timidity point, oh my gosh, makes me want to just pass out how bad that card is.
I think someone reached a certain point.
So there could be answers coming in Uprising or future sets, and if you can suspend for 3 to 4 weeks, let that set come out, see what the meta does, and then make a decision. It's a strong tool. But again, restriction here to me makes more sense to just say Starvo can't run these things. Here's the most important announcement, of course. Lechi Skeleta is suspended until Viserai Ruined Blood becomes Living Legend. They give you a date, but then they say suspended cards may be unsuspended earlier than the specified time frame. So,
well, that's not really a date. That's just
it's not a date, but it's a point
happening
in time.
Yeah.
And why that's kind of interesting is like it says it's going to happen here, but it could also happen at any time. But what they're doing, there's a signaling intent, right? They're not. They could just say we can unsuspend it whenever we want, and you can guess why. But they're basically saying, hey, we think this is too good for Viserai.
Yeah.
And if it ever is no longer too good for Viserai, or if Viserai Living Legends, we're going to unsuspend it for all the other Ruin Blades. So again, an example of, hey, how about Viserai can't run Skeleta? That's one good answer. So restricted list makes so much sense here. But secondarily, the perfect, the like 400-yard drive here for me would have been X values can't be reduced. It's so simple. I mean, I think you can do it. I think it's a clean way. I know that they're trying to build a mathematical foundation where you set the cost of an X value and then it functions like every other cost in the game. There's a lot of great benefit to doing that, but if you literally just have that text in the comprehensive rules, X values can't be reduced, or X values always carry their reduced value into their assessment of the effect. So if you reduce X to 0, X equals 0 in terms of number of ruin chance you get, et cetera, et cetera. That, I think, is a clean way to handle a problem that will be there for a while. And any X value is always going to be like problematically pumped up and reduced, which I know you may not want to restrict that, but that would have been my 300, 400-yard drive. But what do you think about this suspension?
I think in the commentary they say suspended until Viserai is gone, but also they're going to keep their eye on it.
Yeah, they say the asterisk suspended cards may be unsuspended earlier than the specified time.
Well, I think when they talk about down below, it's like skeleton might just be a problem.
And they did a good. I mean, this is correct. I love the write up on all of this.
Yeah, they're actually giving context.
There's no reason not to do that, and so many publishers don't do that. Whenever it just helps us understand where things are, and everybody's just nervous constantly because this is the internet and we're all human beings. But Viserai's in a strange place, which is true. Relatively low tournament win percentage due to the unfavorable matchup versus Bravo, but potent at dispatching most other heroes in the format. We ran into that ourselves.
Yeah. That was the conclusion about 2 weeks into this meta.
So he's saying acting as a gatekeeper, Skeletor plus Sonata, for this reason, suspending Skeletor. But again, restrict Skeletor Sonata. Like, you can solve that problem that way too.
I mean, what do I think about it? So
Is it the right answer to the problem?
I've never... It's a good question. It's a good question. I've never been particularly attached to Skeletor, right?
Yeah.
I think it's an incredible card. Blocking, honestly, the blocking for 2, the least common thing I used it for was the Sonata combo. Because I don't like OTK, right?
Yeah.
So it is the pivot turn for Viserai.
Yeah.
Almost all the time, and that's where you get into Rattlebones or Oath of the Arknight into an attack, and you can do that off of basically you can have a turn where you don't have resources and don't pitch, but play things that cost a lot of value. And given that the mechanism underlying, especially Viserai's brand of Runeblade is a lot of the reduce for every rune chant you have.
Yeah. Uses them as money.
Yeah, so a lot of times Skeletor, if you have enough of those attacks in, isn't even relevant for those because, like, if you have 3 rune chants, Amplify the Arknight doesn't get more free, right?
Sure. Yeah.
And there are some cards like Ninth Blade of the Birthday Cake of the Blood Oath that are very playable because of Skeletor.
Yeah.
And like without Skeletor, it gets a little more dubious.
Sure. And I love Kraken Skeletor to play that card.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, that seems great. Like, okay, there's an upper limit though.
Yeah. I do think it's interesting because the Starvo changes. I don't.
Is this official information? Are we getting some meta?
I mean, I'll share. I'm
some fresh meta.
Pretty open on this. I don't think Starvo goes anywhere. As we stated,
continues to get first and stuff.
Michael Hamilton won the event without awakening his deck, and then while the deck was on 9 Autumn's Touch, there's other 3-cost Earth attacks that go right in. They block for 1 less. I do think that's more important than people think. The -1 block, but 80% of the time you weren't using it to block anyway. It was pitching. It was the 3-cost attack that you were playing. It's got the same attack stat, so. In terms of comparison to Autumn's Touch, it is a little less flexible and it's a little less defensive, and you don't have Awakening, so the combo of being less defensive and not being able to penalize people for getting ahead of you does matter. But I think people that are, and we had a little bit of disagreement on, not me and you, on the discussions I've been having, there's been some disagreements. But my opinion is, players that are really good with Start of the Show will stick on Start of the Show, because I don't think players that are good with it aren't leaking damage, and nothing changed for them.
And that, And I think that's the intent.
Yeah,
so that's a little worse, but it's still great.
If you remove Star of the Show completely, even as a Viserai player, was like, I think Viserai might be too much. Like if Star of the Show is just gone and there's no one to check him, he's faster than the Runeblades. He's faster. Has a very good match into Prism. And then all the mid-range and control decks, because he could OTK.
Yeah, and he can split damage even in the tempo games.
So, like, he's just a bear. So removing the OTK means, to me, like removing Skeletor, to long-windedly answer your question, it does 2 primary things. One, he does not have the OTK option anymore. which means matches like Oldhim are terrifying.
Yeah. Well, they're unwinnable, right?
Maybe.
Can anyone win against Oldhim? Aside from
Prism is really good into Oldhim.
But like that's it, right? Anyone who's playing a normal game of Flesh and Blood.
Dash is also reasonable because
that's a pistol party.
She can just stack up, and then in the end game, she's like, you can't constantly just block all this.
Yeah.
She will eventually wear him down.
Yeah.
So yeah, outside that, I mean, honestly, Oldhim's worst enemy is time.
Yeah. Right. He's like grandfather of time or something in the war, isn't he?
And because you go to time in a tournament, that's really bad for you. And in fact, most Oldhim players I know, it's not even how much time Oldhim takes. It's how much time your opponent has to take because of how you're messing with them.
Yeah.
Like they have to be very technical in pitch stacking a lot of the times. They also have to be very technical in structuring a turn, so you can't just ice react them out of 10 damage or something, or frostbite you out of stuff, or channel Lake Frigid, that kind of stuff. So I think the toughest part of playing him is just making sure that you can get the game done, particularly in time, particularly if there are mid-range decks around. So when it was a Briar meta, Briar can move really quickly, but in a not Briar meta, it's a totally different ballgame. So to go back to Skeletor, the other thing that you remove from Viserai from him not having Skeletor is his pivot turn. So he doesn't have the 2 block, which stops, like, you have the 6 armor across the Grasp of the Arcanite and the Arcanite Skullcap. You can block without using cards, and also then you can use it to get reductions to really have a big turn, whatever.
But you saying it out loud actually just makes me sick to actually ingest what that actually was. Block for 6 and then reduce a Sonata to like 15.
Yeah. But like I said, so Sonata was the thing I used it for least, because a lot of people I see do this. You'll have like 6 or 8 rune chance, and it's very tempting, and I get it, to pop, let's say -6, play Sonata, you get to look at 6 cards. In your mind, you're going to draw 3, do 3 arcane damage, and then you're going to get a reduce in attack. But to make that really valuable, the attack has to have go again. So the go again attacks don't cost that much.
Or you're going to have your boots.
Or you got to have your boots and another non-attack action. Or you got to have like a Mavrian Skies to hit. There's a lot of layers to that. But then also, so you look at 6 to 8 cards, I miss so much.
Yeah.
It's like, and sometimes you hit.
Yeah.
Right? Sometimes you got to hit, and that's just the answer. But at the same time, I was very commonly not even, like, I'm not even going to take that risk. I would rather just play a fair Sonata and then have a turn where I know I'm going to get like a free Rattlebones and a free insert attack here. And that's enough, right? It's enough gas on the fire. So to answer your question, I don't know. If there's a different alternative, I think it's removing Sonata.
Yeah.
Let him still have the pivot piece and the piece of armor and the chest piece, but removing the very complicated double X. How many cards are you looking at?
Yeah.
And how many cards am I drawing?
I kept having to ask players can you tell me what the X value is before you start moving?
Yeah, and that actually helped me get in the habit of saying what that is.
Yeah.
Like, I was like, why are you asking for the X value? I'm drawing 6. Like, it doesn't matter. But I think you're not wrong when you're talking about Skeletor allows you to play things for free that you shouldn't be able to play for free. But it is also kind of part of the identity of particularly Viserai. Like, he's got the attacks that already do it. So you then also have to run attacks that don't get reduced by that stuff to make that card an actual valuable card to be using.
Yeah.
Which is interesting. So whether or not it's the right call, I think doing something was good. But when I was testing before this happened without Skeletor or Rosetta, and against even standard mid-rangey type decks, I felt like a turn behind.
Yeah.
And a lot of the games that you need that pivot turn to stay ahead or to get ahead kind of a situation, you just don't have that anymore. So what does deck ends up looking like? I mean, that's kind of the question I want to explore.
That's what we'll be exploring today. It's like, I think we'll put Vis against like a mid-range deck and just see what the tempo looks like.
But I will say, an environment where I still think Start of the Show is around and probably close to as good as he was, maybe not quite. He has weaknesses now. You can actually attack into him. But then removing the gas from Vis, his matchup into Briar gets worse, his matchup into Chain gets worse. I'm not convinced he even has the damage and speed to get over the top of Start of the Show now.
Well, it was already not a given.
Yeah.
It was super hard already.
Part of the problem was that, like, you would at some point pivot into kind of an OTK play, and you couldn't just attack into them. Because, you do 10, it's like, cool. And then like, Crippling Crush with the ability for free. And then, you drew another Awakening. Cool, let's do it again. So you remove the ability for him to not, like, and again, going back to start the show for a second, part of why I like Awakening going away is the downside of start of the show is that you need a big hand to do his ability. You got to have the elements and the attack to play, and the elements probably one or two have to be blue.
Yeah.
Elemental cards at blue are not that great.
Yeah.
Like, there's just...
And dude, it's worth keeping in mind, Starvo was tested by a design team that lives in New Zealand, which means they were blocking. And so the whole idea of Starvo's fairness was built on the idea that you actually block attacks ever, which is not the case in the real world here in Fabland, where everyone just decided, well, all these cards are better if I just attack with all of them and start slapping each other for about a year and a half now.
Yeah.
So
and the slapping still goes on to this.
So Starvo's very fair if you have to block things. Yeah. But when you realize that not blocking is like 17 damage with a Frostbite token and a Crippling Crush effect, there's really no reason to do it.
Yeah, well, and I think that is the key, which is like if he has to take 15 damage to use his ability and come at you with a Dominate +2 go again Hammer Swing on top of that, that's kind of fair.
Yeah.
Like,
you still lost, though.
You can still lose to it.
No, you still lost that. You lose that exchange, though, It's the hammer on top, man. It always gets you, doesn't it? It's that hammer on top. You're like, you get, you're like Oakenold, or you're like Crippling. It's like, okay, I have a plan for this. I've got this defense reaction in my arsenal. I've prepared for this. I go, okay, 2 cards, and then one from, I'd use 3 cards. One of them's a defense reaction. I've blocked the Crippling Crush effect. Great. And it's like, well, here's the hammer. Yeah. So if I don't block the hammer with these 2 cards because of 4 damage, I can't do anything on my turn anyway.
One of those cards anyway. Yeah,
that's when you get like,
all that to say, I think taking something from Vis isn't necessarily wrong, but also with Starvo still as good as he is, I think Vis actually potentially enters the not playable category.
Yeah.
Like,
not the best choice to win a Pro Tour.
Yeah. He's still playable from a...
And there's some weird Vis builds that you have done over the years that could still be possible.
And that's the question. Yeah. Like, what does Vis look like now? And I think a good thing we're going to do today is we've been playing your Dark Horse decks against Viserai on and off for the past couple of weeks. And just seeing how he stacks up, even in a fair match, right? In a more standard, I think it'll give you a sense of how his pace has changed.
Yeah.
When he could really put on the gas, a Starvo without Awakening, I feel comfortable with that match.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not 100%, but I at least feel like I can play the game. I'm not going to sit here and just game Rune Chance the whole time. And it's not super likely that you're just going to steamroll me with Dominate effect after Dominate effect after Dominate effect.
Yeah.
So is it the right call? I don't know. I mean, at this point, without any new cards or changes in the meta, I have a hard time imagining him reaching Living Legend status.
I would definitely say, from your commentary that we've been talking about the past few days, and then just seeing how close some of the Vis matches were into some of the weird stuff that I'm doing, it definitely seems like Starvo was reduced 2 to 3%, and Vis was like 35 to 40.
Yeah.
And which is interesting because like Vis was the secondary problem and got really wrecked, and Starvo is your actual problem, and you're like, we're gonna let him be good for one more little while, and then he's gone forever.
Yeah.
So you get why they do it, but it's like it does seem like a bit of an overreaction to Vis. I would even go like Vis can't play Sonata, or again Sonata can't be reduced. That's the problem here.
Yeah.
Nightblade is fine, it's fair.
And I think that's I would have rather them hit Sonata.
Yeah.
And who knows what's coming next, but I do think that losing Skeletor, at least presently, is such a just game structure killer for him. Losing OTK is one thing, but also losing your big pivot turn as Viserai, because the other elephant in the room is I think it makes his Runeblade matchups also, they don't lose their chess piece, right? Like Chain still has Husk. Briar has been on Tunic pretty much the whole time. So it has a disproportionate effect on him, and we'll see where it stacks up. I also, he's got weird card pool, so I'm going to explore it, and it's possible, that he's got the goods. But at the same time, it's not going to be the same kind of deck it was on. Yeah. I don't think he can play pure aggro.
Yeah.
Which
in a lot of ways we kind of don't want that for everybody. You know, like sometimes you might want a bunch of mid-rangey decks. I would love to see that personally. Okay, so we think this is probably just not great now.
I'm going to explore it. I hope
you gonna play those
playable.
pummels? You gonna pummel this?
Maybe.
You should. That was always my favorite deck that you built.
Yeah. Well, when your attacks are free, but they cost 3, and you can play pummel on them, that's pretty cool.
It's pretty good.
Yeah, it's like amplify for 6. That's it. 1 card.
Yeah.
2 cards on.
Pummel that baby. Seeds of Agony moves from banned to suspended until Chain becomes Living Legends. So basically, we're seeing a parallel here. Skeleton is too good with this. Seeds of Agony too good with Chain.
Yep.
But and Seeds, of course, can only be played by Chain.
Which I like. That's kind of a little spoilery that we will get more Shadow Rune Blades at some point.
Yeah.
I also like the more cards on the suspended list mean that these are still worth keeping around.
Yeah.
And someday, and you're designing the next Shadow Rune Blade, it's pretty easy not to make Seeds of Agony too good. Mm-hmm. Like, it's there. You can test with it. So I like that a lot.
Yeah.
That's a nice little just like, we'll throw it on there.
It does, though. I'll just say I'll repeat this one more time. So just consider it over there at Legend Story Studios. You're already basically creating a restricted list. It's already done. You're saying this is suspended while this thing's in play. If you're playing this thing can't be played. Mm-hmm. It's like it is a restricted list.
Yeah.
So you could actually just formalize that and not do so much collateral damage.
And for anyone unaware, restricted list is you can't play 2 things on the restricted list in the same deck. So you can play 3 Seeds of Agony. As an example, you can restrict Chain and Seeds of Agony.
Yeah.
And there'll just be a long list of here's what's restricted. So Starvo is restricted, Touch is restricted, etc. And then it's like you can't play Seeds and Chain, but if you print another Rune Blade that's a Shadow Rune Blade, they can play Seeds because they're not on the list.
As they're one restricted card. Yeah. But it does have its own faults too, especially over a long period of time. And if they're not going to do rotation, I could see how that would get out of hand. So that was Classic Constructed. So there's a lot of Blitz changes. Zach, I don't feel... there's one thing that's notable, which is Stubby Hammers. Otherwise, I don't feel qualified to say anything about Blitz.
Yeah, I don't at all either. But I will say about Blitz, along with the Uprising
Wizard stuff was weird.
We got the fact that on like June 10th through 12th, there's going to be world premieres.
Oh my gosh.
In Vegas... Madrid
and Australia. They did it, man. It was awesome. I mean, they're just like, it's like a freaking movie premiere. It's crazy. It's like a big deal.
All that stuff looks
great.
There's a lot to talk about there. But that event, Friday is the world premiere of the set. You're going to have a kind of like the ARIA event last year in Vegas. Saturday is a calling team. It's Blitz team. Yeah, well,
he was almost there when it.
But team, I've said this for a long time. I think genuine team events, not just like a Sunday. It's a fun thing to do, but like main event is this, are so underutilized in tabletop gaming. It's unbelievable.
Yeah,
like crazy. So there's supposed to be more details today on that, but I think it's teams of 3. There's a version of it I think called Unified.
Yeah,
where you have to. Between the 3 decks on the team, you have the max copies rules. So only 2 Command and Conquer in this case, 2 Enlightened Strike, 1 Arcanite Skullcap, as an example.
Yeah.
1 Fandel Spring Tunic, right?
Yeah.
You probably aren't going to play 3 Rune Blades as an example.
It's cool.
I love that. I wish
cool.
it were Classic Constructed, but it's fine.
Yeah.
I am probably going to go to that event just because I want team events to be a thing. Mm-hmm. Let's do it. And then Sunday is a Battle Hardened, and it's happening all over the world on the same weekend. That's super cool.
Yeah, they crushed that.
That's super cool.
Absolutely crushed that. Looking at flights to Vegas as we speak. You know the weird thing about team matches and team blitz and all this kind of stuff that I was thinking about it last night. Like let's say you and me and somebody good is on a team.
We need one.
And then it's like what that actually looks like for me is I think it's just more pressure than a one-on-one event. It's just like you just don't want to be the guy that's like losing all your games when the other 2 members of the team are winning.
But man, I'll tell you, past couple of years during this pandemic, I was going golfing with some friends.
Nice.
You would always enjoy what I would say.
It always makes me laugh.
But we play the scramble format.
I love the scramble format.
Which is everyone tees off, and then everyone shoots their next shot from wherever the best shot is. And like you're always playing the best shot. And as a team, it's so cool because even if just like 1 in 10 shots they're using your shot, you're contributing.
Yeah.
So like a team, it is pressure because if you're constantly losing, like let's say it's 7 rounds and you just are 0-7 on the day.
Yeah, which is possible.
That's pretty. That is rough. But even if one of those rounds you win your game, you're 1-7.
Yeah.
But you were one of the 2 people that won on your team, and that's what gave your team the win that round.
Yeah.
You have contributed, right?
True.
And I think team events to me, there's a camaraderie and like you never have that weird tension of I'm sitting across the table from someone I don't know. Mm-hmm. And, that for a lot of people, that's a stressful situation. But as soon as you have a friend on either side of you or, the 2 next to you, it's now a group reality conversation.
Yeah.
And then you finish your game, and it's like, oh, now we're both watching our
just
two
look
teammates.
over
Like,
and
like what's going on? And I don't know, some team formats, like I know back in the older TCGs, right? I don't know if Magic ever did this. The team format would actually be such that like the team can also communicate in ways like. So there's that. Like with one of my friends, Matt, 2v2 Star Wars LCG. You're actually playing the same game. It's like 2-on-2.
Yeah.
So that was cool because you're like,
you guys would just like shuffle away and be like talk in the corner and stuff. It's crazy. Those games are like 6 hours.
Yeah, but all that to say, I think team formats are super, super awesome. And I really, really dig. I think that they would be a great battle hardened format, like the Sunday after the event, especially because like I'm running this right now, which is you're having to coordinate before you even decide to book to make sure you have a team.
Yeah.
That's all going to be there and that like all that functions out. If it was the Sunday event, it's like, okay, we're going to go and pick up the 3rd team member we need at some point in the weekend.
Yeah, find somebody.
You're kind of looking, so it brings people together in that way. So I hope to see both. I like that there's a Collins team, and I would love to see this battle hardened in that same format.
And how about playing into the mission, the bringing people together, flesh and blood thing? It's like team, you've got 3 giant events for your world premiere across the world. It's just like, I just think it's fantastic.
Yeah.
Just really leaning into that.
And, dude, I'll tell you what. Winning a PTI and a cold gold is great. It really is great.
Is it?
Tell
us how it feels, Zach.
It's incredible.
Yeah, it's really just like a short essay. Can it be a 5 paragraphs thesis, 3 supporting paragraphs, and a conclusion?
Well, it's pretty intense. You're in the game. You feel your heart beat a little bit. Boom, boom, that kind of thing. And then at some point, you recognize that you've won the game. And then, I don't know, it's probably endorphins and dopamine.
Mm-hmm.
Just
brain
like
chemicals,
going wild. And then they hand you this little black envelope with the Legistory logo. You slide the cold gold out, and it's like, it's total dopamine. You have found what you're looking for, and your brain is on fire. And then everyone's texting you, and people are asking you questions on Discord, and people are tweeting, and like everyone's like super. You go out and you have drinks. It's this crazy thing. But I'll tell you what.
That would be cool, wouldn't it?
That feeling.
That would be something.
I'm telling you, is 10 times. It would be 10 times if you were sharing that feeling with 2 other people.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's true.
Which is why I love team events. Like 3 people battling it out over 2 days to earn. Their PTIs, and I don't know how the pricing is going to work or whatever, but like even just being successful with someone in an event like that is so rewarding.
Yeah.
And I don't know, it's so good. I'm very excited about that event.
Well, let's check it out.
I can't believe I'm excited about a Blintz event.
Let's go to Vegas.
I'll tell you that much.
I know we got a lot of learning to do.
Yeah, I have no idea how that format works. What are you going to say about Stubby Hammers?
It's the exact same format, man. That's the benefit and the downside. It's just half health.
Yeah, it's the same format except for there's only 2 turns. Or
and no
turns.
sideboard.
Yeah.
So that actually is more interesting in a lot of ways.
Well, I think there are heroes, like as an example, your Levia, that you can kill someone in a turn or 2.
Yeah. Well, that's true for most.
But there's like no downside to Husk.
Yeah.
And she can't do kind of the weird way you're already playing her.
Yeah, you got to play it weird.
Where you're not relying on cards being a discard to be able to banish and stuff, but like blood deck cards in and up over in your banish zone and you not be able to prevent the damage does not matter.
Yeah, and you get 1 roll of scab skins, and as long as it's good,
and you got the gambler's gloves. So right. Like odds of it going wrong.
You may do skull crushers in that format. I don't know, but
let's go.
Following changes from June 24th onward is that Stubby Hammerers is banned. So this is a really strange reality in Blitz. Stubby Hammerers.
You know why, right? We all know why this is banned.
Well, imagine it's the effect.
But do you know why this card specifically is getting banned?
Do you know?
I absolutely know. Even if they're not saying it. I didn't read that part of it. I didn't even know that was there until people on Discord were like, "Did you see these bans for Blitz?" It's like,
is Bolton too good in Blitz? Come on.
Let me tell you one word.
I didn't know. Yeah.
Shiana.
Oh right.
I love Shiana. Am I going to be tempted to play her in Vegas?
Shiana's going to ruin everything though. Over time.
So the problem with this card is Shiana
unsustainable
plus Force of Nature. So Force of Nature being Briar Specialization, which she can play. Any attack that hits this round that has greater than its base attack value, you draw a card.
Yeah.
So Stubby Hammers is a turn this on for so many cards. She can run Whirling Mist Blossom from Ira. If it's X number in the chain, you draw 2 cards on top of that. So it's very easy to create a scenario where actually your last card or 2 your opponent just can't block. And almost every card in your deck is a 3 damage attack that has Go Again. And the reason I also say this is there was some art that got posted yesterday. Hold the phone. Art got posted yesterday with a character who's got the same necklace. It's like this gold thing, earrings, and headpiece on that Shiana has in her art with a different face. Which everyone's speculating means...
Coming to Constructed?
No, she's in the new set.
So you think there's a new Shiana or there's a Shiana what? What does that mean?
I would suspect there's a card that is good for Shiana.
Okay.
Either she gets a specialization or whatever, or there's some card in this next set that is going to make prediction that makes Stubby Hammers and Shiana just like unbearable.
Now, Zach, call me old-fashioned, but is this not going to be a forever problem?
Well, they banned Stubby Hammers. Easy.
Hey, Shiana, you have a hero.
You can't ban a legendary, dude. You can't ban a legendary.
You have a fundamentally controlled, siloed system, and then you print a young hero that removes the entire balancing benefit of that system. And then you're going to say, I'm going to ban any cards across the entire game that can be combined in ways that only one hero in the game can ever possibly do. And our answer is to ban cards in response to that. How many cards are we going to lose to this?
I mean, she'll eventually live and legend out, right? Just like the rest of them.
That's the escape hatch for all logic, isn't it?
Well, so here's the thing that I'll say. There's been a lot of specializations that have come out since Shiana, and most of them are not playable in Shiana. Like Chain Specialization, it basically just does the Via Specialization. These are things that don't really do anything. Mm-hmm. Even Bolden Specialization is like, oh, I'm going to Via the Vanguard and charge my soul.
Yeah.
And anyway, and it only pumps for light cards. So it's like a very weird... She's not getting very many cards at any point.
Right.
And the card pool for all the talents and all the heroes is expanding way more rapidly. So,
but man, let me tell you, if I was a design team and every time I went to the whiteboard with a new concept, I had to ask, well, can Shiana with any combination of all possible specializations, combine this in some kind of a problematic way? Every piece of equipment, every specialization, every generic card, I had to run that test on. I'd be like, Shiana's got to go. Why did we ever print this thing?
Warped Tone Wizards saying apparently they reference one of the new heroes is the reason for the ban. So there's also the new Ninja.
How terrifying that the idea of +1 to under 3 attacks can be busted.
Yeah.
Maybe it's busted in Bolton right now.
I mean, I think it's also really good in Benji, right?
Yeah.
Because they can't block stuff with... Is it attack value of 2
I don't know
or
if it's
base value
printed or actual value. I don't know. I think it's base value. Again, we're going to have to learn this stuff because we've got to play Blitz, like Team Blitz.
Yeah.
When are you done with the Pro Tour? When is that over?
Well, I feel like we just need to have a series where we pivot to Blitz here.
Yeah, we will do that. But when are you done with the Pro Tour? What is it, May something or other?
May 13th-ish.
So we've got like a month to learn Blitz? That sounds like a compelling stream series. 1 month to learn Blitz. The boys are back in town.
So Benji is not printed. It's the actual total attack.
Okay, fine. Then they did it. That's the smart way to do that. But what's interesting is I like this, if not for no other reason than it, to me, signals maybe a more serious or concerted balancing system that Legend Story maybe has implemented with the mix of lockdowns being lifted and COVID not being so restrictive on people actually getting together to test. And then also just in response to Briar and Chain and Starvo is like, we need to be more assertive and realistic in the way that we're testing these cards. and leading to something that is preemptively understanding is a broken reaction.
Yeah.
I think is a good sign that they're like actually testing well.
Yeah, and I think it's way better than the other.
Yeah.
Than it running wild, but it's it's fine.
Yeah.
I think it's totally fine.
All right, so that's all that stuff. So we're gonna play some Vis. I like that they listed all the winners of Viserai too. That's cool. It's just a nice little hey, how are you?
Originally, it was 10 wins at like a colony or bigger is how a hero would go away, and then the 10 people that won those events would be forever, etched onto that. So that was cool. They kind of brought that idea back.
All right, next up, let's talk about Uprising. I want to get to the cards for sure, but let's just talk about some of the weird things about the set. So it looks like we know we're getting Draconic Ninja, Draconic Illusionist, Draconic as a talent pool, which is effectively fire, but cooler-ish.
Yeah.
But it's fire. It's like
lava, fire, etc.
Which means, for me, you could easily have a talent that is akin to water, but not called elemental water.
Yeah. Now, it could also be that instead of getting elemental fire,
moist.
This is where the fire shows up.
No, that's what I mean. Yeah, so like elements can show up in different
ice
exciting ways. Because there's ice and lightning. We have fire. Maybe there's like some kind of a weird name for water, like
Aquarius,
aquarium, or aqua or something. Yeah, cool. Underwater peoples, and they're doing cool. Yeah, they got tridents, of course, because like, oh my gosh. So some things about this announcement. We've got that. We've got the Ice Wizard, Icelander. We think
now,
those are the only three.
Some speculation, real quick. It has not been confirmed that it's Draconic Ninja. It's been specifically confirmed as Draconic Illusionist, but the speculation being that in the Ninja is like thematically uprising against the Imperials, which is the Illusionist.
Have you seen this piece of art?
Well, so the interesting thing is, and you look at the packaging, the Draconic have dragons, but the Ninjas have Phoenix.
Oh.
And they're like the uprising against the evil Draconic Empire. Yeah. So I have a feeling the Ninja is actually going to be
Phoenix?
A different kind of firepower that is not destruction oriented, but rebirth oriented.
Now wait just a second.
I know, dude.
What are you talking about? So how do you do a set like that? Ice, Draconic, Phoenix?
So
3 talents, 3 classes? How does draft work? How does sealed work there?
In Welcome to Wraith, you had 4 classes.
Mm-hmm.
So all the class cards are not playable by 3 of the heroes.
You had a ton of generics, though.
And you had a ton of generics. So someone was saying one of the Icelander cards is like number 170 out of 220. And the way it's supposed to be alphabetized or whatever, it would put her cards at the end.
Mm-hmm.
So there's space for like 60 generics or something in the card count.
G section.
So there could be a lot of generics, hypothetically. And then, we already have all of these classes with a certain amount of cards in the game already. So it's pretty easy to divide the rest of the cards up between a talent and like talent versions of wizard cards or just generic wizard cards or whatever. But it's not something we haven't seen.
So it's possible.
Especially if you only have 3 heroes.
Yeah.
So that 4th hero being gone gives you space to make sure all 3 have, the stuff they need. So, or it could be Draconic. It could easily be Draconic.
They want us to think it's Draconic, which means it won't be, right?
I mean, they have done a really good job at every turn of making people make assumptions that are just totally wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So do you think, in the grand scheme of Flesh and Blood, do you think that the largest card pool you always had to pull from is... Does it go like this? Tell me this. This is really important for me to... I try to understand things. What a fool. Okay. So, is it generics is your biggest card pool, class cards, talent class cards as the smallest pool? Or is it talent cards, generic cards, class cards, talent class card? Like, what do you think is the ultimate vision here? Where do the card pools fit in?
I mean, with enough time, hypothetically, it seems like all of them are going to be big.
Well, that's not it. But you have to at least draw a line in the sand, right?
I think class talent cards, like Elemental Runeblade, will inherently be the smallest.
Got to be the smallest pool, right? Okay, we've established that. That's down here. That's Sir Bolton here. Talent class cards. Okay, then what's the next smallest card pool you have?
So talent class, very specific. I think the next thing is going to be talent.
You think talent is the next?
No, backwards.
Class.
I think talent and class are probably similar.
Same number.
That doesn't have to be the same.
But like same number.
Yeah, so like Earth cards and then also generic Runeblade cards.
Okay.
In time would be on a similar scope. And then
generics.
And honestly, over time, generics might actually end up being the smallest thing. Like I think early in a game, right? If you have one set, generics being the biggest pool makes a lot of sense, because to have any sort of viability and constructed and options for heroes to be playing other than just what they have presented to them, I think that has to be a pretty wide.
Yeah.
And the generics themselves have to serve multiple roles as time goes on. But over time, I would assume it's way more interesting to release class-specific, talent-specific cards. Mm-hmm. Because they are so restricted. Like, that's the safest way to release a card.
It is the safest, but it's also the least exciting for anyone not playing those classes.
100%. But that's where, the class generic, right? Like, it's just a wizard card versus a draconic wizard card. Mm-hmm. I think you'll keep getting those dripped out. Kano doesn't need 20 new cards necessarily, but even 2 or 3 cards might make it enough for your...
Yeah.
As a player enthused about that.
And like one piece of equipment is like enough.
Yeah.
So we might get Phoenixes. Well, that's it. I had heard talk about that, but alas, I wasn't paying attention.
Yeah, I don't know. It's a good question. We'll put that on the next interview with James list.
Okay, so maybe there's 3 talents, 3 classes. Now, worth noting, these are all the classes that didn't have but one hero to play. So I'm happy about that.
Yeah.
Ninja needs an extra. Illusionist needs an extra.
I'm trying to find... People were talking about the math earlier on how this works.
Yeah, Colin's got a spreadsheet going in our Discord.
Yeah, so it could end up being Draconic. It could end up being something else. That's really not super relevant. We're getting a fire-based ninja. That's cool.
Yeah.
Someone's asking if I was going to main that if Viserai wasn't playable. That's unlikely.
I don't know. Don't take that. Throw that right out the window. If there's an effect that says deal 3 damage to your opponent,
I'm playing it,
and it can't be prevented. This guy's playing it.
Here's the thing. This is the first time I've been genuinely excited about Illusionist.
Yeah. Like,
can we pull up that dragon?
What's it called? Drakai? Dragon
Dracana.
of Illusion Dragon? Is that the Marvel? That is the Marvel. Yeah, it does, of course. I don't know what it is, man, but I just love dragons.
So I felt very fortunate in the first 2 years, because Guardian and Runeblade are my favorite 2 classes of the first 2 sets.
Man always loved Charizard, too. That was your first love.
And then we got a bunch of those heroes. And then now they're like, you know what? You don't get a Runeblade or a Guardian this set, but you get dragons and fire-based stuff.
It's basically a game built for you. Do you have like a through line? Do you have an emergency number that you can always reach James on and just be like, hey... All right, so we've done all the stuff that I love except dragons. Can we go ahead and roll that in?
Yeah.
Can we get some burn effects in the game, please? Thank you.
The Zac phone.
I swear, if this Phoenix Ninja has burn effects, it's going to be over.
I could get into it, yeah. It would be pretty cool. I'm not saying it would happen, but it'd be cool if alt art promo cards that were coming somewhere had a Phoenix on them in some way. That would be cool. I know nothing about what our promo will be for this set.
Dude, if there's Phoenix-related things and they don't integrate that into the promo, that is
it's a putt that you just can't miss.
Yeah.
I mean, it's literally like the when you wouldn't know necessarily, because I don't know how much you golf, but you putt and it gets
I know the idea of golf.
So close to going in. It's like the wind might blow and make it happen.
Yeah, call that
but it's not there. And then you walk up and that's how close putting if there's Phoenix things and you don't put that on our promo in some way. That's how close that is without going in, and you somehow just miss it. Anyways, I won't get on that. I will say...
I completely agree.
That's a good segue to say, if you're not signed up for a subscription...
For real.
We do have spots.
Now, Zach, don't get accused of causing FOMO here.
That's funny.
You're not trying to drive speculative prices. The price of our subscription is not going up. I don't think we anticipate boxes to be hundreds of dollars on release.
No, but I also don't think the vibe is these are going to be so available that you can just get them at super, I think the hope is, based on James did an interview a couple months ago on, I forget which YouTube channel, maybe in Flake's video, where he effectively is saying, the goal is that we release a product and the value of that product is about what we say MSRP is. So how they handle that, I don't know the details on how many are getting printed and whatnot, but all that to say, if you want a subscription, you want automatically get stuff. You want to get the exclusive promo. You want, I think it's free shipping at 3 boxes or more.
Yeah, 3 boxes. U.S. shipping.
Then those signups are available. And if these products do get hard to get, if I don't know, I don't want to cause FOMO. I'm just saying they're available. They're out there. If you want the service, you can sign up.
I'll do you one further. After all these announcements, signups are accelerating in a real big way, and so
might be in sellout territory again.
Will it sell out? Will it not? Honestly, we just don't know. We honestly don't know. Genuine people telling you we don't know. But if it continues to accelerate like it has been, just like if you're here and it's like, I want to make sure I get this stuff and I want those exclusive promos and I'm on the fence about it and I can't tell, just sign up now. Again, it's free. You won't be charged for a while, so you can at least make that decision. And then if you want to cancel before the charge happens, you can always do that.
And I think a lot of people, the assumption is going down to a single release format, these will be printed indefinitely. And I don't think that's sustainable or true. The other thing is, oh gosh, what was I going to say?
You started staring at the dragon.
Yeah.
Started looking at it.
Oh, I think the other thing that's happening right now is it happened for me, but this is really cool. That announcement, some other tidbits that are maybe not super recognizable up front. There's 6 legendaries, which if they hold to the mathematical odds as stated, you should get about 6 legendaries rainbow foil in 20 boxes. You should also get 2 cold foil legendaries in that same spread. So that's in every 20 boxes of product that get open, there are 8 legendaries. 2 cold foil, 6 not. Which means a legendary shows up about in every 2.5 boxes, which I think is actually really nice because it makes the legendaries more available for people, right? Mm-hmm. Like if you bought a case, you'd expect to get at least 1 legendary, and sometimes 2. Makes it more accessible, but then it also is more collectible at the same time because the cold foil ones are actually so hard to get. And let's pull that dragon back up. These are the Marvel rarity. This is new. Mm-hmm. The reason I mention all this, beyond the fact that I'm excited about that dragon, is I think that people that just play the game are tightening how much they're getting. And if you combine that with an expectation these might be available more widely, then it's even easier to be like Everfest. It's just totally available.
Yeah.
From here to the moon. But as more gets revealed about the set and people get excited, and then stuff like this, the Marvel, so not only are the cold foil legendaries harder to get in the Fableds, they're not saying how rare these are.
I just like that there's a very rare aesthetic upgrade to a card in the set. That is the collectability I can get behind.
Yeah, and it's the same with the rainbow foil stuff too, right?
Yeah.
So it is somehow better for players and collectors at the same time. Because players, there's more legendaries in the pool. They're showing up more often. So whatever piece of equipment you really want to get, if you're just wanting to play and you do not care about collectability, that's going to be fantastic for everybody. Mm-hmm. And if you get the cold foil or you want the cold foil, you should get rainbow foils to trade into whatever it is you're trying to get.
So all around better.
And then collectors now have a thing that is actually super rare to get.
Yeah.
It's easier for Legend Story to print enough product to make sure people have access to buying it on day one, et cetera, et cetera. And this took me to a new level. 1, it's dragons. 2, the alt art version of this in cold foil. If I open one of these, it's just, that's why my head hit the table. It's like, that's going to look so good in cold foil.
Wait, what are you talking about? Is there are all Marvels cold foils?
So there's a version of this that's just a majestic.
Yeah, standard card.
Yeah, it could be foil, could be non-foil, just like normal. The Marvels, I think, are all cold foil.
Yeah.
So like this thing shows up, I think it's double-sided in cold foil.
Yeah, they probably have an impact.
You know, like the star of the show that's got the full art on the back with the cold foil and stuff.
Oh, don't I?
I think it's the exact same thing. And again, I love this kind of stuff. It's just aesthetic. That's the main thing. Back in the day, Pokemon, Charizard was just like hard to get. He didn't happen to be that good in the game, actually. Mm-hmm. But there was no easier version of him to get at the time. This is ideal for me because you're not keeping people out from these cards. But then when you do get when you open the really cool thing, like it's really special. And if you don't want that stuff, you can just sell it, right? Yeah. Or you're playing a seal and you get one of these, cash it in.
Set should be great. A couple of quick questions that we usually get that I will answer here again. Do we still have a sub for BlitzTex? We do, Caleb. Caleb Gibson, do we have a sub for BlitzTex? Yes, it is on our website. BlitzTex subscription It'll, of course, be serving the thing that I am yet to talk about, which is the new Blitz deck. So there's the Ninja Blitz deck and the Illusionist Blitz deck. Seems like there's only 2 of them. Yep. 2 Blitz decks, so kind of paired together. Maybe that's to create a better starting experience for players. I thought the Arya starting experience was not good. So hopefully these 2 Blitz decks will be paired together with mechanics that are not super complex, where there's a nice match that you can always have between those 2. So on the Blitz deck sub, we don't send boxes of Blitz decks, we send singular Blitz decks. So if you want one of each, 1 Blitz deck subscription is what you want, which is the vast majority of people are going to have 1 Blitz deck sub. That'll get you 1 of every unique Blitz deck as soon as it releases. Somebody else just asked, Ryan Roper said the current unlimited sub got removed, correct? So if you want to join the other sub, if you want boxes, that's correct. We sent out an email about this to all subscribers. If you had an unlimited subscription, it is no more. Unlimited is no longer a format. You will need to go to the booster box subscription on our website and sign up. Upside is that you now will get the exclusive promos. Downside, it is at the price, the higher price, because we were doing unlimited at MAP, and non-unlimited is at MSRP.
I just linked to the subscription in the chat.
Right on. And the Blitz subscription is currently capped. I think we currently have that out of stock because we have no idea on the allocation of that product yet. So that may well open up again. You can hop on the wait list if you're interested in that, and we will make sure that you get a notice whenever that happens. And then somebody else was talking about sealed cases. And I will get you 2 questions here. Mitch Vareo, if I sign up for 4 booster subscriptions, am I getting a sealed case? You are getting 4 booster boxes guaranteed. Whether or not they come in a sealed case is not guaranteed because of the way that we do our operations and the efficiency to get those things packed up. 90x% of subscribers will receive 4 booster boxes in a single sealed case because as a business, way easier for us just to pack it up and send it. As Ryan Roper says, I have 4 and I've never not gotten a sealed case. We just don't want to guarantee it because that's not the kind of thing that we're looking to manage.
A good example of why, if you want one of many reasons, is last time there was a large amount of product that was dropped accidentally off of a delivery truck, and there were a lot of cases that got damaged. And so we get a finite amount of product, right? The vast majority of these boxes are going to local retail, but we have a limited amount of supply. And if cases get damaged, the boxes in them aren't necessarily damaged. So we had to open a lot of cases just to verify that boxes weren't damaged. And we don't want to promise that you're getting a sealed case that's pristine or that kind of stuff because stuff like that happens. But almost always it's going to be shipped that way. But don't expect it.
And if it's not in a sealed case, because we opened it up and we looked at all the we slid all those packs open and then we pulled out the big dragons.
Yeah,
and then put them back in.
That's another really nice thing about the legendary rate. I know it's random, but the legendary rate being about every 2.5 means that, like in Welcome to Wraith, it was not super common to get 2 legendaries in the same case. So if you started opening a case and you hit a legendary in the first box, you could then try to sell those 3 boxes.
Right.
But still, it's kind of funny because like Fableds don't play by those rules at all in previous sets. So even if you hit a legendary, it's like there's 3 other boxes. Less odds to get a legendary, but not any less to get a majestic or a fabled. But all that to say, at 2.5, now it's even crazier because like the average case is going to almost have 2 in it. So if you open 1 in the first box, it's still high odds that another box is going to have it, let alone the Marvels, et cetera, et cetera.
Well, let's talk about this, man, because this is a new way for them to describe their product configuration. Okay. Do you see this?
Yeah.
Are you hip to this?
Go on.
First of all, fully recyclable paper booster wrappers. Let's go.
Love seeing that.
That was great. There were no problems with those previously, and just so happy to see that. The Uprising art and pack art is just hitting it right in the brain, of course. And then let me find where they talk about this. This is their configuration here. So did they take this away, or is this somewhere else? Because I saw where somewhere they were saying X per display, and they were normally doing it per pack.
It was saying 1 cold foil per display.
So is that real, you think?
Say that?
It's not here, no.
Cold foil? I think it's up in the rarity. Nope, down. wrong direction. It's like, I remember there's a list of numbers somewhere.
Maybe it's here, maybe it's on this. Look at us, a bunch of old guys trying to figure out how to print a spreadsheet. Here's the product sheet. Maybe it's on the product sheet. Google.apis. Okay. It says cold foil, 1 per display, Replace this token. Rainbow foil, 1 per pack. Rare higher, 2 per pack, etc. And then there's Fabled, and then, of course, Marvels with the big question marks. 1 in the world. 1 printed. That's what that means.
I don't know. Lizard brain just starts losing its mind, or whatever it is.
That's right. I'm about to sprint across the water. So do you think it's
when
actually...
Those, like, lizards are like jumping on, they're like, it's so good.
You think it's actually 1 per display, or is that a shortcut to say 1 in, it's average 1 in every...
I mean, I feel like it's so much safer to say average of and or every so many packs.
Yeah.
Because if you open a box and it doesn't have a cold foil, I mean, it's manufacturing-wise, that seems very hard to guarantee that's going to happen.
Yeah. Could have been an oversight, but I don't know. It seems like intentional.
Yeah, but it was about what was... It was true or better before, right?
Yeah.
So, like, I've opened, I think, 1 box that didn't have a cold foil.
Yeah.
I've opened a lot of boxes that have 2.
And then you walked over and punched me in the face after that.
That's right.
I hate this.
So what's it? Not diving into all the cards and stuff, but also not only...
we will be diving into all the cards.
That dragon is not a token.
Yeah.
Which means either something's weird or it actually goes into your deck.
It means something's weird. Guaranteed.
Yeah.
We're in the whole world of weird. And James was talking on the interview we did on the podcast, like, he said we got some really cool things happening in Uprising, etc. He gave the whole designer, thing that, hey, things are about to get weird. I'm gonna go to the card previews.
All right, we're gonna look at them all.
Let's run them down.
Lionel saying, I can confirm I opened an alpha box of Welcome to Wraith and I did not pull a cold foil. Felt bad.
Yeah, that's not great. Hopefully it wasn't recent, where you kind of bet the farm on that.
Man, can you imagine paying like $5,000 for a booster box?
I don't even want to think about that life.
I mean, you can't imagine paying $5,000 period, let alone opening stuff
for anything.
But can you imagine hitting like a Fandale Spring Tunic cold foil?
Well, yeah, that's the gambler's dream, right? Bowl the slot machine one more time. Let's talk about Encase. We got a new effect, new ice effect. Previously, ice was...
In case, not just in case. I thought you were saying, let's talk about it just in case.
Previously, ice was all about giving frostbite tokens to things. That was the whole idea. Ice Fusion give frostbite to things.
And Frostfang was like, if it hits, discard a card or pay 2, right?
Yeah, but those are existing effects. Nothing fancy there. And Frostfang is notably not fused. Is it? On its discard attack?
It just is what it is.
So the Ice Fusion typically was relating with the Frostbite token, but here we have a beautiful combination of arcane damage and the new freeze mechanic. We've not seen the freeze mechanic before.
Were those alt freeze tokens?
Ice Fusion, 0 cost elemental wizard action. I'm sure it's going to be great with Iceland or anyone paying attention at home. You can have that for free.
Is it blue?
This version is red. I assume the blue version will be deal 1 arcane damage instead of 3. Although, no, it's majestic, so it comes in at red.
Okay, what's the deal?
You got to play it at red. Deal 3 arcane damage to any target.
And it's cost 0?
Cost 0. A 0 for 3, no big deal. If Encase was fused and deals damage to a hero, freeze that hero and all equipment they control until the start of your next turn. A frozen object cannot be played or activated. Can't play your equipment. You freeze that tunic. You can't activate the instant.
Is it a wizard card?
You betcha.
So, is it... What's the staff? The wizard staff.
You are asking the wrong guy.
Aether...
Stormvein? Aether Spindle? No, that's a spell. Kraken, Aether, Kraken Windbane?
Oh my goodness, hold on. I'm just going to get into this because I'm going to need reference cards.
Aether Veiled Kraken?
I know what they do, I just don't know what they're called.
They all look kind of magic-y, it's all kind of the same.
Crucible of Aether Wave. Or the Aether Weave.
Just however you want to go with it.
I may not be a wizard, but I can sure murder a name of a card, you know what I mean? Crucible of Aetherweave says, once per turn instant, pay a resource. The next card you play this turn with an effect that deals arcane damage instead deals that much damage plus 1. Okay? So you pay 1 with your ice staff or your fire staff.
But why are you running the fire staff? You're an ice deck.
Because you want to win.
What does Kraken Aethervein do?
Well, we'll come back and
okay, I want to know what the...
Yeah, so you pay 1.
Okay.
Make it plus 1. You pay 0. Play this. Does 4 arcane damage.
Yeah.
So unless they're hanging on an arcane barrier 4...
Which maybe we have to now.
They're going to take a damage.
Yeah.
And be frozen.
Yeah.
Which means their equipment and they are blank.
Yeah, the hero. They're not blank, but the hero cannot be played or activated. So, for instance, Levia's ability, that is, blood deck cards reduce you. It doesn't matter. It's fine on that. Passives are unaffected.
Oh.
You can't play or activate.
Colons.
Colons.
Colons are done.
Colons are done. So Chain can't create a Soul Shackle.
Yeah.
Right, as an example. Dorinthia can still attack a second time.
Crown of Seeds.
Crown of Seeds, of course, yeah, can't do that.
They would just use it before it hits.
Right,
and then not take any damage.
Yeah, that's how you would do that because that card is awesome.
So, okay. 0 for 3 Arcane, already really good.
Yeah.
Well, the crushing hit effect is also really good.
I love this. If Wizard just casting weird spells that do bad things to me, if I let him hit, I love it.
Yeah. All right.
At normal speed. Okay?
Kraken's Aetherbane. Once, this is the weapon you like. Once per turn instant. 3 resources. Deal 1 arcane damage to a target opposing hero. Draw a card for each arcane damage dealt this way.
I do like that card. But yeah, not really a lot of
I don't know how to use it well, but I do like it conceptually.
All right, we got a new ice action as well called Channel the Bleak Expanse, which I know all of the players out there are saying, you know what I love more than anything? I love Channel Mount Heroic. I love Channel Frost.
Channel Mount Heroic is one of my favorite cards in the game.
What is Channel? Channel can't do anything? Channel Lake Frigid. I love that.
And then there's the Channel Lightning that no one plays.
That's the thing, man. If there's anything I love in the game, it's whenever they play that card and then I realize I can't do anything for the next 2 turns. That's my favorite thing. It really is. So hopefully this one is equally as fun.
You know what? Can you imagine if they let like the most aggressive and controlling hero in the game also use that card?
Like an Oldhim or something?
Or like, what if like Star of the Show could use Channel Lake Frigid?
Wow.
Yeah. I was playing against a Star this morning. It's like, Channel Lake Frigid. It's like, oh yeah, you can just do that. Yeah. This is miserable.
Here's what I think, man. I think these channel cards should apply their effect in both directions. Just like Greyjoy Choke used to do. It's fair if it's both players getting.
Man, can you imagine Mount Heroic applying both directions?
Yeah.
You would never play it.
But you're built for it, you know? So it'd have to be built differently, but that would be the idea. Like the environment changes in both players and I have to adapt to it, right? Channel the Bleak Expanse. Go again. 1 cost, 2 defense. So an average ice card. Heroes can't reveal cards.
Oh, dude, this does apply both directions.
They already did it. They did the thing I wanted.
I mean, did you set it up to knock it down, or did you just not read it?
I didn't think that this applied.
You're just in old channel math, and now it's new channel. Yeah,
I like the new channel. What geniuses at LSS thought this up? Heroes can't reveal cards, search decks, or draw cards from effects.
Man, both these cards are really good in the start of the show. Who will no longer exist by the time it comes out.
This was the answer. They were probably testing it.
It's like, surely he won't get 1,000 points in one season.
So this is really good. It turns off things like...
Clint says they responded to your feedback immediately. Actually, they responded to your feedback in advance.
It turns off cards like Ravenous Rabble. It turns off all your fusions because you can't reveal cards.
No fusion.
It turns off cards like Awakening. You can't search your deck. Turns off cards like Become the Arknight.
Yeah, kind of like a ban list.
It turns off cards that draw cards from effects, like Force of Nature. All the problematic things in the game, this turns off.
It turns off Sonata.
There you go.
You reveal X cards.
This is the answer to everything bad in the game.
Tell me this.
I think I'm going to play this and then just swing in with 3 for 7s.
So, on one hand, I feel like ice/water would be an element that's appealing to you.
Water would definitely be.
And you did play Greyjoy Choke, I guess.
Ice is just bad earth.
You played Greyjoy Choke, so this fits. But I was like, in my head, more recently, it feels weird for you to be a super control player.
Yeah.
Are you into Icelander? What's your...
I do like Icelander, yeah. But I don't
touch a wizard weirdness.
I don't want to be like the prison-y control player. Like I liked Greyjoy Choke because I had those Wintertime Marauders and they could destroy anything on the board. And that was the most busted mechanic in that entire game.
What was the statement right before you said that?
I'm not a control player. No, yeah. I mean, you can play stuff, but I want to be able to destroy it. Like, I don't want to let you not play stuff necessarily. I just want to be better at killing you than you are me.
It's, it was the old burn math.
It's called aggro.
Which is, I want you to, I'm cool with you playing stuff. I just want to kill it before it does anything. And that way
everybody wants to.
That way you wasted your resources and cards playing it. And also, you had hope that you were going to get to play the game, and then I just remove it, right?
The hope is
something like that. It's like, that character you invested in, I'll attack. And you're like, I'll block it. Like, I'll go ahead and kill it, and then also get the effect from attacking. It's cool.
Yeah, you're right. My favorite Greyjoy deck, though, played the game normally just better. It just had the Intimidate and the Raiders and stuff. Yeah, and it was normal so Game of Thrones. It was just like, these guys are too good.
I think in the end, my favorite Thrones deck was my Dothraki City deck.
Yeah.
And that deck just slapped.
Yeah,
I'm an
it's just
aggro
a
player,
slapper.
actually.
Yeah. We both like to.
It's just the like taking the risk.
I like to get on top of it and then just stay on top.
Grind it out, yeah.
Ice Bolt. Blue Ice Wizard action. We assume it has 3 colors, so this is the weakest version. Deal 3 arcane damage for 2.
And it's blue, which means Icelander can play it from Arsenal on your opponent's turn.
Yeah. It also means a 2 for 5 red, seemingly.
Which is fine. That's normal wizard math.
That's good, though. We need more, more spells. Good.
A couple things coming in. Chris saying it's weird. It's a weird world where Steven likes a card that has the word can't printed on it because it fixes problematic other cards.
Isn't that true?
Clark asking, did you notice Ice Bolt is Ice Wizard action, which in case is an elemental wizard action.
Oh.
So is there an elemental wizard that isn't an ice wizard?
Whoa. So, whoa. Maybe not yet. Elemental wizard action, so that can be played by any elemental wizard.
That's all that is.
Ice, earth, lightning.
Like you could get an earth Runeblade card, and then if you had a elemental Runeblade that wasn't an earth special, it couldn't play that card.
But this is weird. It seems like these should be reversed. In case is so fundamentally an ice card, I would want it to be like Ice Wizard only.
Yeah.
And Ice Bolt is like any elemental wizard can probably like throw an Ice Bolt.
That in case is just elemental wizard.
Yeah. It's more universal. And then Ice Bolt is Ice Wizard. Okay. Well, isn't that interesting? And then Ice Bind, elemental wizard as well.
Well, you know why they didn't put ice on that card? Because ice is necessary to fuse things. Mm-hmm. So it adds too much value to that card. You can't fuse with that card.
Mm-hmm. It's the old Arya math.
Yeah.
Ice Bind, Ice Fusion, 0 cost blue. Deal 1 arcane damage to any target. If Ice Bind was fused and deals damage to a hero, please give me more of these effects. This is what the game should be about.
Hit effects.
This is what the game should be about. Freeze a card in their arsenal until the start of your next turn. So you can't play the thing in your arsenal.
How thematic is this?
Yeah, it's great.
I love it.
It's lovely.
It's funny. Freeze is the can't keyword on a stick, right?
It is. But here's the thing, though. This is why Channel Bleak Expanse not as great.
It's tied to a hit effect.
It's tied to a hit effect.
Well, at least the Channel Bleak is also universal.
Yeah.
So it is at least, it's not really a downside if you build around it. It's just like ice wasn't in Thrones, but still, it is a universal thing. It costs resources. It costs you cards. So you're basically giving up 2 cards to prevent them from using certain things. But I think that threat around means that if you have a deck that is actually crumbles when it can't access those tools, you at least have to be aware that that's a potential problem.
You do. You got to honor it. And then, in this kind of a deck, it shuts off. You're probably going to be shutting off your own Ice Fusion effect because you can't reveal. Yeah. So it's like, okay, well, maybe that's okay.
Also, apparently, any card that has Fusion on it is elemental.
Yeah, that's how it always was in Arya, too.
Cards that don't have Fusion
are the cards
almost
you fuse.
just element.
Yeah.
And it can be element class or whatever, but yeah.
It took us like 2 months into Arya before we fully appreciated that you can't look at the art of the card to know whether it's an ice card or an elemental card.
Did you know?
How many times did I try to fuse with something that had lightning bolts on it?
Yeah.
That wasn't a lightning card.
I didn't realize until the finals of the Pro Quest. Every time I do this kind of stuff, Tim goes...
Just to show you preparation is everything. Right?
Tim's like, Pro Quest champion Zegbon, everybody, because of what I'm about to say. But the, Entwine Ice, right?
Yes.
Is an elemental card.
Yeah.
And can be played by heroes that don't have the ice.
That's right.
Entwine Earth,
Entwine
Lightning. All of those can be played by the heroes that don't have that element.
That's right.
My opponent, round 1 in the finals, plays Entwine Ice out of Briar. And I was like, whoa, wait, hold on. I'm the idiot.
Judge.
Yeah, thank God I won. Otherwise, it'd be really like, how did this even happen?
All right, here we go. Let's look at Ice Eternal. Ice Eternal is Icelander's specialization, and notably, it has the double X in the corner, which means it will inevitably be a problem. So, Ice Fusion, create X Frostbite tokens under target hero's control. So if I want to create 2 Frostbite tokens, I have to spend 4. Mm-hmm. Create 3, spend 6. Are you following me?
Yeah.
Create 4.
If I want to create 4, how many is it?
Spend 8.
Okay, yeah.
If you want to create 5, how many would you spend?
10.
Nailed
we got it. Yeah.
Then, if Ice Eternal was fused, deal arcane damage to that hero equal to the number of frostbites they control.
Okay, so play the card. I pitch 2 blues.
That would be 6, yes.
Pain 6, X is 3.
Yeah.
3 arcane damage.
Yeah.
And 3 frostbite, or if it hits 3 frostbite.
If it was fused, 3
okay.
3 arcane if it was fused, always 3 frostbite.
So pitch, pay 6, 3 frostbite.
Yeah.
Period.
Yeah.
If fused with that 4th card in my hand,
Yeah.
also 3 arcane damage.
And if they have additional frostbites from other things that you've done on the turn or at the end of their turn, it would also count towards their frostbite total. It doesn't check how many frostbites you applied, it checks how many they have whenever the effect resolves.
Let me see that.
So if you put 2 frostbite on them from some other strange means, like a crack of an equipment or something.
Oh my goodness, dude. Dude, and she can play this from her arsenal on their turn.
You know she can. Yeah.
So it's like, my turn, do something, give you 2 or 3 frostbite, arsenal, pass to you, draw my full hand back. It's like, first thing they do, if they don't do something that cracks those
frostbites.
Frostbite? So there's funny stuff.
The question is, okay, now when do the frostbites crack? Because you announce the card and you pay the cost, which is accelerated, but can you respond to them playing a card by giving them additional frostbites, doing
like
the damage,
instant on top of it, like a
disappear?
wizard? Like a real wizard? So I don't know the answer to that, but what I do know is that...
I'm so surprised.
What I do know is there's weird stuff like Runeblood Incantation or Seismic Surge tokens that if they pop at the start of the turn, give you a chance to play instants before anything else can be done.
Yeah.
So watch out.
Yeah, watch out. Okay, I'm sure chat will help us out there.
I expect you're saying yes.
Okay. Yes, you can play it. Yes. Before. Yes.
Before they're gone.
Yeah.
So you give them 2 or 3 frostbites, right? Somehow.
They have to pay the extra cost. Then you create a bunch more frostbites, which they don't have to pay the cost of, which is fine. For that
but they take the arcane damage.
But they will take the arcane
That's the real deal.
That looks like a finisher to me. Frost Hex. 3 cost Affliction Aura. First Ice Wizard Affliction Aura we've ever seen. First Affliction Aura we've ever seen.
Is a frostbite not an affliction?
This is some gross control. Like, we thought Oldham was bad. This is like...
Should frostbite have been an affliction?
Maybe. I don't know. 3 cost Icelander Specialization. An Affliction is an aura that enters under the opponent's control, which is a frostbite token, yes. So that is an affliction.
I mean, but if you have cards that get rid of afflictions, then frostbites can't be getting rid of it.
Correct.
Can't be removed from that effect.
Yeah. Frostbites you control have... Now, this is your opponent, so I play this on you. So frostbites you control have, at the beginning of your end phase, this deals 1 arcane damage to you.
Is this blue?
Yeah. 3 cost blue.
Yeah. You know what's interesting?
Tell me.
At the end phase, frostbites that I haven't paid for.
Yeah.
Effectively. So that's actually really hard to pull off.
Currently.
Yeah, now that card like she played, right?
Mm-hmm.
If you wait till they're out of cards in hand and then you play her specialization, give them 3 frostbites, then it'll be 3 damage, but they will go away at the end of that round.
Yeah. But then keep in mind, we currently, as of these spoilers, but there's one, of course, coming up, there's no natural way to get rid of this.
Yeah, it's just stuck.
So it's there forever. So like you take 1 frostbite on your turn as you're going to the end phase, 1 damage.
Yeah. Or
2 damage.
You have those moments where it's like, and she can play blue cards out of her arsenal. So once you have this in play on their side, they played their hand out. You have all the cards that give frostbites if they don't pay or that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But it also means the turns where that organically would be like I block out and I just pass because you gave me 3 frostbites. Mm-hmm. Now just passing...
True.
It's a 3 damage moment.
True.
Yeah.
If you lock them down with like 18 frostbites, survey says you can't pay the cost of anything in your deck. They stay around.
Even
you take 18 arcane.
You do 3 arcane damage, right? I pay 3. I have 3 cards left, and they give me like 5 frostbites. I may not be able to play any of those.
Yeah.
And if I can't do anything with my hand,
ooh, this could be really degenerate.
Mm-hmm. Well, especially is that you can have 3 of those out.
Apparently.
So you get 3 out, and it's like, I'll give you 3 frostbites when you don't have a card in hand.
It feels like that's a play pattern we will be seeing.
And it's like, you want 9 damage you're just not going to do anything about?
Oh, man, I can't wait till we're complaining about this. I'm going to be a person on the stream complaining about this in T-minus 2.5 months.
Are you going to play it?
Probably.
Good. Someone's got to.
I've got to play a wizard eventually, right? Let's look at Hypothermia. Affliction Aura, 0 cost, blue, 2 defense. Attacks you control, when I play this on your side, can't gain go again. At the beginning of your end phase, destroy Hypothermia. So it's 1 turn where you have an affliction that your attacks cannot gain go again.
Can't gain, but they don't lose.
They don't lose it.
Yeah, that's nice.
Yeah.
Briar does not like that. We don't like the style.
Yeah.
That's fine. That's a fine card to have in the game.
Then we have Thaw. The Draconic border is gorgeous. This card art is actually maybe a step above.
Fire and Ice, man. Classic. Tales all the time. They're really hitting all the classic
card,
beats,
though.
right? Draconic is a talent.
Is this...
Man, I just didn't think it would get better. But here we are. I get Fire and Dragons all in the same pool of cards. Hot diggity dang.
And right there in the middle of Thaw, you see water. That's what I'm looking for.
Yeah, it's when the fire meets the ice.
Yeah. That's why ice is just worse
You know what?
Earth.
What if you get
It can melt.
elemental draconic fire ice hero?
And it's just making water?
Their element is water.
Draconic ice wizard?
Yeah,
It's just
let's go.
Water fountain. 2 cost, 6 attack, 2 defense. You see, every time you go around the rim and then you see the 2 defense and you're like...
2 for 6, blocking for 2. That better be bringing the value.
While Thaw is in your graveyard, at the start of your turn...
This is new.
This may be the Draconic mechanic.
Like the vibe.
It may be that, to your theory, what if the Draconic mechanic is banishing from your graveyard to do an effect, and Phoenix is taking a card from your graveyard and putting it into play?
I'm telling you.
It's rights itself.
Death and rebirth, man. It's Tales all the time. I love it.
While Thaw is in your graveyard at the start, you may banish it and choose to either destroy target Frostbite, destroy target Ice Affliction, unfreeze target Frozen card.
I like all these things.
Yes.
You know what? This is mechanically.
They've got a lot of room left, don't they?
Yeah,
It's crazy.
They're doing a lot with little, but I think mechanically you have to be so careful with these abilities.
Did you say recursion?
Yes. Well, anything like if you had a similar thing that offered like go again, watch out. Like just be careful because this is just free value, right?
It's a card that's always in your hand.
Yeah.
We've learned this lesson with Chain, have we not?
Yeah.
And this is even more on tap.
If it is the Draconic thing, then already with Viserai, if you have like Becoming Iron and Rattle Bones in hand, it's like a brain bender.
Yeah.
Because you just have so many choices, and also like it can get pretty gross. So I like these particular abilities. Being very specific and situational on what these things can do, I think is very good. But it is also a little terrifying.
Are you going to have to remove that weird rule they have in their documents about how you can't reorganize a discard pile? Or are you just supposed to remember what's in there? Can you take them and peek them out from the top so you know what options you have down there? You know, these are the questions that people got to know.
So your opponent knows what options?
Yeah, well, they should, you know? So it's like Chain, puts the banish pile up here, but they don't have banish pile rules.
Yeah.
So you put your discard pile, you pull out your little...
I don't know, man.
Guess we'll find out. Cold Snap. There's a lot of spoilers. 1 cost, blue, 2 defense, common. Presumably it will go up. Target hero may pay 1 resource. I'm assuming the yellow is pay 2. It's like Winter's Bite. Red pay 3. If they don't, freeze a card in their arsenal or an ally they control until the start of your next turn.
We get an ally hate now, eh?
Oh yeah, it's that dragon, man. Go freeze that dragon.
Dragons.
If Cold Snap is played from arsenal, draw a card.
Is it blue?
Yeah.
So the blue version, you play it from Arsenal Iceland to draw a card and also do the effect.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah. Also, I mean, think about it. So this is an ice action. So like, Oldhim can run this, right? Lexi can run this. Is that all true?
Is this an ice card?
Yeah, it's an ice action. So basically, Lexi even can like freeze a card in Arsenal and ally with this. So like, there's some good things here you got to watch out. And then finally, of course, you've already seen it, but why not again? Dracona Optimal. Oh, Optimi. I'm guessing that means optimal in Draconic language.
What's it do?
So it's strange. Draconic Illusionist Dragon Ally.
So this is the Illusionist Dragon.
Majestic. I think there's 3 of them.
Yeah.
1 for each class, or 3 dragons. All 3 for Draconic. It's got to be all Draconic, right?
I assume there's.
Yeah.
I'm gonna guess.
They all look banging.
We'll see. I mean, you got the Thrones thing where each dragon has a person.
Yeah.
And this seems like the illusionist dragon.
Oh, maybe so.
So I could see a.
But you also have the Mother of Dragons. She has all 3.
Well, not in the end. only Drogon is her dragon.
That's right.
The other 2 go eventually find other people.
I couldn't tell you. I stopped watching.
We don't track that show anymore.
We don't talk. The border on this. You see the border on that?
Yeah, it's disgusting.
That's like a melted metal illusionist. Mm-hmm. Okay. Whenever the Dracona Optimi attacks a hero, reveal the top 3 cards of your deck. My deck. He deals arcane damage equal to twice the number of red cards revealed this way to them or an ally they control. So it can do 6 damage off of 3 reds.
I love cards that are better because of red cards.
Yeah.
It's pure aggression. 6 damage coming at you. We don't even know how this thing attacks.
We don't know.
The other stuff had a little action, like attack. Mm-hmm. But I'm into it. I'm telling you.
Do you think a lot of people think the weapon will be controlling the dragon? It will have an ally you control can attack.
Wow.
Kind of a thing. So you have like the dragon scepter, you're like, ah.
But this
dragon listens to me now.
Can we have 3 of those in the deck?
I think you have to find it, or maybe the weapon is once per turn action, search for a dragon ally and put it into play. And then maybe it's a once per turn attack with I don't know.
Interesting.
Or maybe like cost 3 to go search it and put it into play. And so like you have to decide and they have to kill it again.
Crazy.
If they kill it at all. I guess that's a choice they can make.
I'm so excited to see how these work. I just want to own the card. I don't even really care what it does.
Yeah, I mean
the full art version.
It just seems like it seems like a lot of good decisions.
This is just going to be a problem. This game getting more collectible is not easier for me as a human.
Yeah.
I'm gonna very quickly come to terms with I can't have it all.
You can continue on that front because I'll happily use your cards.
Yeah.
Let's see what New Vista's up to. What do you think?
Speaking of using some cards, let's do it.
Give me a second. I'm gonna put together my favorite deck.
Sam, we don't know. Asking how it is play. Clark asking if we can have 3 in the deck. We don't know. Honestly.
I'm gonna rebuild this thing real quick. My favorite thing here, man. We're gonna put Axis together. I'm just curious how Viserai competes against the mid-rangiest of mid-range decks.
Yeah. So I've made some very light modifications.
Yeah, what did you do?
That's what I'm talking about. So the 2 primary choices for me on replacing Skeleton are Aether Ironweave. Love this card. Absolutely adore how it looks.
Yeah, it looks great.
Just a great looking card. It blocks for 1, has Battle Worn, so it doesn't go away if you block with it. Action, you destroy it, gain 2 resources. Activate this ability only if you've played an attack action and a non-attack action card this turn. So particularly good for turns where you're like Maverick Skies, and then you play maybe a 0 cost Amplify the Arcanite. So coming in for free, you play both. You pop this, you get 2 resources. All of a sudden, you can finish the turn like a Spellblade Assault without having to pay its cost. 2 resources all at once is good. Comparatively, we have an oldie but a goodie, Faendal Spring Tunic. Problem with this card is it looks too good. Just kidding. The actual problem is that odds of making it to turn 6 aren't high. So you can either have 2 resources guaranteed when you use this, or you can maybe have 2 resources. Now, here's the thing. If I'm expecting a longer game, control match, you see an Oldhim across the table, you see Bravo, Showstopper, you even see Star of the Show. Sometimes those games go on. I do think Tunic is the right call. So if I can fit it, I think both of these end up in my list, and it's really just a matter of who I'm playing against. If I'm playing against Chain, as an example, I need to block early and often, and I want to apply as much pressure on the right turn as possible, so Aether Ironweave makes a lot of sense. So, comes out of the matchup. Now, that said, Skeleton's gone. So, birthday cake is not happening. Is not the birthday month for old Viserai. Who you playing, Dory?
Yeah.
Do you have that Gorgonian tome that you were messing around with in Bolton?
Yeah, I got it somewhere.
Is it in that Bolton box? Let me hand you that box over there.
It probably is in Bolton over here. If it's not,
It probably is.
Yeah, it's probably in there. It's got to be in there.
I just want to fish it out real quick.
Ooh, I've got some choices to make. Hey, I'm thinking Yellow Warriors Valor is correct. And I'm not happy about it. I don't really think that, but
definitely thought you were gonna say I'm thinking Arby's.
I'm thinking Arby's.
We have the meats.
There's one thing I'm definitely thinking. And then I need another flock. Where are these flocks? Oh, there they are. Flock of Feathermark is so good in this deck. Don't listen to Alex Becker. If Alex Becker is ever at a party and you're talking about Flesh and Blood or something,
ignore him.
He's going to tell you all sorts of strange tales about Flock of the Featherwalkers because he can't figure out how to make it work. Strictly. It's always good to instigate people that support you and are your friends. That's really what friendship is, isn't it? If there's anything we've learned from these streams, it's that a nice bit of taunting is the secret to a long-lasting relationship.
Rule number 1, taunt.
Yeah. I don't know much about relationship, but I know it's supposed to be slightly abrasive.
Yeah, it's been working out for you so far. So just keep doing it. So realistically, I think there's weirder versions of this Viserai deck to be explored. I'm not there yet. What I kind of wanted to do is make slight adjustments based on the lack of Skeleton, and then see how it plays. See what my pacing's like and whatnot. And that's kind of where we're at now. I'm sure over the next couple of weeks that might evolve or not. I may abandon the deck if I just decide it's not up to Pro Tour quality. Right,
might be the case.
So there are cards that are sticking around. You know, Amplify the Arknight, red. Rune Flash, red. Stormy Gloomveil, red. I'm gonna just call out all the cards quickly. So price.
Hey, you want to go to the top down?
Is it automated yet?
No, not yet. Maybe next week though.
Man,
let me make sure our focus is good on this too.
So there's a lot of cards. I won't necessarily go over them all, but if you're really paying attention, they'll be right here. You can see them that are staying the same from previous decks. Shouldn't be super surprising to you. You know, Sonata, still playable. Got to do it. Revel in Runeblood is okay. Still exceptional, even without Skeleton. It was very, very, very good with Skeleton. Fresh, you do a good job keeping up with these. Appreciate you out there. Mordred Tide, of course, Mavrian Skies, etc., etc. The blue base, very similar. I have dropped Drawn to the Dark Dimension. Just messing with some other stuff to see how I feel about it. I still love Drawn to the Dark Dimension. But I think Vexing Malice, potentially very critical in the guarantee arcane damage moments. Whereas before I would sometimes have big stacks of rune chants. I don't think it's going to happen as often. Which then, of course, turns on all of my I've done arcane damage triggers. So really trying to see, the deck has to play more fair. Strictly. So I have some sideboard tools. Let me count my cards real quick. 3.
How lame.
15.
I got some weird ideas again. It's not healthy. Keep trying to squeeze blood from a stone on this thing.
7 cards. So I have some slots, and I haven't figured out my sideboard at all yet. But he's on Dory. How much do cards in hands matter to you? They don't.
Oh yeah, tremendously. I would side into all the discard for sure.
No, you're like a flat curve.
I'm not even sure this deck does damage, honestly. I'm pretty sure it's just on the table to give you the punching bag.
My God. Can't write this stuff.
It's why we don't. It's why we don't.
So really, against someone who just wants to block with 2 cards, I'm going to look for cards that push damage. So here we are.
It's a really different way of approaching the game. Yeah, I'm going to make the decision this game to push some damage.
Well, so like classic examples, right?
I would have thought.
Tools in my current sideboard. You have like Reduced to Rune Chant, which is D-React, which could be good into Dory. Don't get me wrong. But I don't think it's quite necessary. You have like Runic Reclamation for Prism. You have Consuming Volition. If you're slower than the other person, having hit effects that discard cards out of their hand is a way for you to keep pace or to force them to block. Command and Conquer is a similar situation. But you also have cards that just consistently give you solid...
The numbers.
Yeah. So like a good example of this is Spellblade Strike. It's a 1 cost for 4, creates a rune chant. So it ups the odds that you're going to hit a card like this when you have a Mordred Tide out. So when you play this with Mordred Tide, it creates 4 rune chants.
I love that you're back on this.
Yeah. Whereas you could swap this out for like Consuming Volition. You lose the rune chant, swinging. Old school, you would always want to try to have 3 rune chants so that your 3-cost cards that are reduced are free. Used to, I was also on Pummel, so it was even more important. So you could play the 3-cost attack for free and also pummel them.
Boom.
Which is damage and discard.
And it's so good.
Good value. But yeah, so there are cards that are just more routinely doing the thing that your deck is doing, and if you have a play pattern that can just beat your opponent. So like, a common play pattern here is going to be non-attack, attack with Go Again, swing the sword. Ideally, you want to pitch a card. Not ideally. Usually you have to pitch out a card to do that. Or you have a Tunic or something. So Mauvrion helps give all my attacks that don't have Go Again by default Go Again. Rattlebones lets you kind of cheat. Your Spellbound Creepers let you kind of cheat in terms of Go Again actions. Then you have cards like Swarming Gloomveil and Rune Flash that have Go Again built in. You don't have the benefit of Briar's ability to give you Go Again. So you only get so many of those, right? Like so many sword swings out of a deck like this. And this is the old routine for Viserai, which is if your opponent just blocks until you run out of those things, he's a lot less intimidating.
That's right. So am I going to do that? Are you just going to let me just like block a bunch?
No.
Okay. Okay, meantime, over here in the fever dream that is building this Dory deck.
Evan's saying, how many Runeblade cards just let you cheat? A lot.
Yeah, great question.
But what are cards if not things to get around the fundamental construct of the game?
In fact, that's correct. It is correct. I'm going to stick on these blues because this is the level of deck tweaking that we're not ready for yet. Here's the question on Dory Axis. Check this out. You know what's exciting? I texted Zach after this banned and restricted announcement, and I was like, the reason I felt like Dory Axis could not be reasonable is because you would just lose to this. Straight up. There was really no contest there. As a true mid-range deck, there was nothing for you. And so I was like, maybe this is playable again. And I love it. I love this deck. I think there's a lot of players who enjoy this style of play. And it could be back in the conversation. I don't know. Here's some math I've been doing since this game is ultimately an exciting math puzzle. And Zach, you'll appreciate this. Every instance of Go Again on your first attack is essentially buying you that second swing at 3 and just recharging your Dynamo. So there's a ton of value in Go Again up front. So your obvious best lines of Go Again are our new card, Blade Runner. 1 cost, +3, Go Again. And the exact same card, but worse. Where's Valor? 1 cost, +3, Go Again.
Yeah.
Right, so these are the same
cards. That's
card.
an action. That's a reaction.
That's right. But and this is a non-conditional. So these are the best ways that your highest numbers on a 2-card hand are going to come from Blade Runner and Warrior's Valor. So I'm putting it in, and I know Warrior's Valor is conditional. I understand, but I'm putting it in. Because if you're not playing your best numbers, you're not giving them anything to do.
What are you doing?
What are you doing? So let's just get Blade Runner in while we're here. And then I've got even crazier, even stupider things to offer. Okay? Blade Runner and Warrior's Valor. So what's our next best Go Again lines? Well, Zach, as you might have guessed, thank you for asking, it is yellow Blade Runner, if you can believe it.
I can believe it.
So we're going to put that in there. Here it comes. Yellow Blade Runner, look at that. Probably the art that I could not be less excited about, but the effect that just makes the world go round.
You mean the Mech Warrior art?
You know what else is a +2? So instead of a 2, it's a 3. Instead of a 3, it's a 2. It's our old friend Spoils of War. So we're going to put Spoils of War in there, of course. So that's also a +2. So this, if we're actually looking at like the go again potential of a deck, there are only 2 other places to go here. One of them is the sad, sad card Driving Blade. And the reason that's a sad card, let me explain it to you. Can you look at it and figure it out? If you pay 2 with a blue pitch, and then you swing the axe for 1, that's 3 resources. So with this go again, what do?
Pitch another card.
And if you want to create 5 Frostbites, how much do you have to pay? No, you're exactly right. You have to either pitch another card, so this becomes a 3-card hand.
They can't ride on this kid.
And a 3-card hand in Dory it has to be a 4-card hand, because if you're not using that full pitch, you're not getting any value. And your 4-card hands actually need to be 5-card hands, because it's not a very expensive deck. So this means you have to have your Tunic resource for the swing, or you have to have 0-cost attacks like Snatch or something to follow this up with. But anytime I play this card, I feel like I'm just kind of wasting my time.
I understand how you could arrive at that conclusion.
Yeah. So then the other option, correct me if I'm wrong, but it's Yellow Warrior's Valor.
We have arrived.
Oh my gosh. Who thought? So this is 4-cost, go again, swing for 3. This is 4 attack. This is 5 attack, go again, swing for 3. So this is equivalent again to Blade Runner Yellow, just worse. But it's still the only
equivalent but worse.
It's the only way to get the magical. Warrior's Valor is +2. First swing is 2. Second swing is 3. That's 7. Charge the Dynamos. That's 8 in value off of 2 cards. That's a card for 4. It's the only way to get it right there. If you want enough of it, you got to put it there.
So that makes the red 2 cards for 9?
Yeah. It's fantastic math. That's why these 2-card hands are so good and why it's so enticing for all of us.
All of us at home.
Then you have the worst part of this deck, which many people like, which is hit and run. So you play it, you pitch a blue, you play hit and run, and then you double swing. And this is the weakest version because it's all of this except no pump.
Yeah.
So basically, your value is you do get a gauntlet token, Brave Forge +1. So you swing in for 5 +1 is 6. You get 7 off of Dynamo, so it's 2 cards for 7, which is not good enough these days. So that's where cards like Flock of the Featherwalker come in, because you really want to remove the cost of the initial go again.
Yeah.
And then Flock makes it, your Quicken token makes your turns really good. Quicken into hit and run is a phenomenal turn.
Well, and the Quicken makes the value of hit and runs insane.
Yeah. Incredible, right?
Yeah. 0 for go again and +X. It's pretty good.
It's good.
Yeah.
I think I value that card at a 1 for 8 right now.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
The Quicken becoming an 8?
It's about right. The Quicken becomes 3 most of the time.
Yeah. That's what I meant.
All right. Then we're running hit and runs because, of course, Sakia's theory was saying that. Yeah, there they are. And then I think the only way to go here is to make a decision that's not very good.
Spice.
Yeah. Which is you're basically going to have to run some amount of reactions because you're running 6 Warrior's Valor. And I feel like that's a strong warrior play. You know, it's like, I'm going to cover this 5 up, and then I'm still going to get the effect, and I'm going to get the bonus.
Yeah, it also works with, like, Spill Blood and Dominate, right?
Absolutely. Yeah, it works pretty much everything, but the only one you can run and still have that second swing is Iron Song Response at 0, which makes it less good.
Okay.
But we're going to test it. Because you might block now. You're not so on fire that you might have to think about blocking for a second, which is a different metagame, right?
Not just top roping all the time?
You're not just top roping the whole time, that's right. So get a hit and runs in there for bigger turns, Spill Blood turns, etc. Tunic turns are really important for this deck, obviously, because it's a deck. I'm running Supremacy here too. I'm doing some classic Dory garbage. I still think Supremacy has some legs here. I'm not gonna lie. I think I can get some cards out of you.
It's particularly good. Stack on stack, dominate. It's like, that's gross.
Now that's difficult to pull off, but I do agree that it's gross. I hate pitching that second card, although sometimes it's just necessary.
Yeah.
All right, so there's your hit and runs. You got your hit and runs, you got your... And then you have some room to play, which is actually quite nice. And you know what I decided? You've ever done this? You just look at the deck and you say, I'm not playing anything that's not generating 4 value.
That is my entire existence.
Yeah, I know, right? I finally figured it out. Like, you just looked at the numbers and said, is this 4 or greater?
Yeah. Remember one of my favorite first cards was Scar for a Scar.
Yeah.
And it's like, hey, a card that does 4.
Hey.
That also, if you're behind, has go again. That's good value.
That is good value.
That's like, and you control how much damage you're taking early on, right? So it's like, oh, if I have this in my hand, it's like, oh, you know what? I'll take whatever and send this back at you. But yes, like if we go through, look at this. Swarming Gloomveil provides 4. Cool. Blue Mauvrian Skies.
It's a lot easier when all your cards provide 4.
Non-attack. Get probably 1 rune chant off Viserai. If it hits, gets 1, and you get go again worth, let's say 3, 4. Okay. Spellblade Assault. Spellblade Strike. 2 damage, 1 rune chant. That's 3.
It's only 3, dude.
But as long as you play a non-attack, you get a 4th value out of Viserai.
Oh, come on.
Better yet, though, a rune chant is also a resource and a damage. So really, I think rune chant should be valued at 1.5. So but that's a blue also. So, you know, that's that whole thing. Blue Spellblade Assault. Oh, 4/4. Blue Shrill Skull Form. Oh, attacks for 5. Red Spellblade Assault. That's 2 for 6. Rattlebones. God only knows how much that's worth. Red Amplify the Arcanite. 0 for 6 most of the time. Hey. Red Runeblood Incantation. Now, this is a questionable card. It's only... Well, they're all... If
it's not questionable at all.
If rune chants are worth 1.5, that, my friends... is a 4.5.
That's a 4.5 right there.
You know, you go through the stack and they're all worth 4 or more and conditionally worth even more than that. And we're just playing Runeblade.
Chaos Theory here saying, talk to me about why Spellblood is better than Slice and Dice. Slice and Dice is a card for 4, a card for 3, and a card for 2. Spellblood is a card for 6. So if you go Slice and Dice, you access Red Slice, which is a card for 4. So that's great. That's what we're trying to do, is get cards for 4. But you're giving up Spellblood, which is a card for 6. And a dominate effect to close games. And the static benefit of axes over the course of the game is tremendous compared to Sabres, in my opinion. Like, I would never block a Sabres deck. I don't know anybody who should or would block what Sabres are doing. Like, maybe if you hit a Stillblade Supremacy and you're coming in for 4, and it's like, okay, I'll block it. But otherwise, it's just like, take the damage. You're always going to do more. You need that +1 to push value with Dynamo and the second axe. Wumpa Fruit suggesting Amulet of Ignition. Amulet of Ignition is great. It basically means you have a Tunic turn on the table. Love it. What I don't love about it is it's a card from your hand now for a Tunic turn later. And I don't feel like I can get the 3-ish value playing it now as I can get playing it later. This is also a mid-range deck. Having 3 no blocks in the deck is not ideal. It's also not a blue, so you can't pitch in a pinch. But it would be the kind of thing where if like mid-range is back as a playable deck, it should be tested along with Talisman of Warfare and Snatch and a number of other options here. So let's do the count here. Hey, I almost ran in the swing the other day.
What's that?
Had the promo version.
I'm just kidding.
Of the
got him.
It's 0 for 3. It's an Ironstorm response. Only works on the second attack, but it is non-conditional play.
As long as you're swinging the second time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, how many cards we got here? 3 times what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. That's 30 cards.
We're halfway to a deck.
And I've got 22 here, blues.
And then now we're almost
52.
Done. 8 slots left.
So I have 8 slots. Ooh, I don't like 2. Well, you want a 4? Here's a 4. How about Sink Below? That's a 4. Spellblood. There's another 6 right there. Any other 4s? I'll tell you what. You know what's a weird 4? Second swing. 1 for 4.
It's not that weird.
And you know what's crazy about it? It works on the next attack, not the next weapon attack. So swing Hatchet with Go Again.
Pitch a blue.
Second swing,
Command and Conquer.
Command and Conquer, yeah. You need 4 money to do it, but you can do it. And you need Go Again from Quicken, but you can do it. You know, it's fine. You can do it.
These are all possible things.
What it really is like Spoils of War, Axe, second swing, Snatch. So let's put 2 Snatch in, because we seem to find a lot of reasons to talk about it.
Well, Now, how much is that card worth?
4 plus a card. That's like 7.
0 for 7.
Assuming you can arsenal the card, and a lot of times you just can't. But
well, who are you playing?
you can try.
That's another test. How many of your cards are you happy to have in arsenal? If it's not most of them, it might be okay. Yeah. Just depends on your deck.
And I've got to grab it from Bolton because I'm running silly Bolton.
I have more snatches at home.
This Bolton's good, man. This is actually a really good deck.
Bolton?
Yeah, really dig it. All right, and there we did it. We just made it. We built this deck 1,000 times. Iron Song Response is going to be the big question mark today.
Well, I'm about to find out what the pace of this thing is like.
Fixing to find out. And this might ultimately need to like cut, you know, Response or Yellow Warrior's Valor for Fate Foreseen. Get some more 0 for 4s. It's true, Wampa.
Well, I think that's part of why just getting to the table is so good, though, is we can start to understand the pace of this thing. Mm-hmm. And this also might be a pile of rubbish. Spoiler.
Yeah, maybe.
It won't be. It won't. It can't be. It's got to be better than what I was playing not even a year ago in Vegas. Strictly because of the cards. You have way more cards. It's crazy.
And better.
Some of them are better. It's amazing how many cards in here from the first 2 sets, though. Let's just count.
Let me tell you, Supremacy is weird in this kind of a deck. Very strange card. It probably gets cut. Some people are really into it. I don't know. It's all, you can move it around a lot of different ways. Chaos, I don't think Courage of Bladehold is, like, Tunic runs this deck. IMO. You get those 4th resources, so, like, that's how you swing 3 times. You know, you have, like, Blade Runner, Hit and Run, Swing 3 is a 4 damage play, or a 4 resource play. You add Supremacy for your 4th resource, you add Spell Blood for your 4th resource, you get a Flock off of your 4th resource. It's like so good. A couple of free Saber Swings is like nothing. Unless you're doing Bolton.
Combo Sabers is a real thing.
Then it's real good. Yeah, then it gets real good.
About half the cards in my deck are from Arcane Rising or before. Not even Crucible. We go to Crucible, I'm at about 45 of my cards here.
Boom.
But I'll tell you what.
Nice.
The cards that start on the table.
They good. Glintstone, of course. Blue Overpower.
That's why we're here.
I like Blue Biting Blade just because it gives a deadly axe swing on the end of the game for 2 cards. Blue Warrior's Valor is wrong. I don't know what that needs to be, but it's gonna be something else.
Love it.
But it's, you know, sometimes you don't know. Am I missing a blue Hit and Run?
It was in your stack earlier. Where's the pile?
Thanks. Make sure there's not a blue Hit and Run in there.
I saw it. This one?
Yeah, that's it. Thank you. You did. Signed, sealed, delivered, man.
Second card. Yeah. I think it got you because if you're glancing, these 2 cards can look very similar.
Yeah, it did.
They have the red cape and the light kind of in the center of the card. If you're just like scrolling through. Yeah, you got 3 of them in here.
Okay. Raiden. Valiant Dynamo, what's up? Brave Forge, oh my gosh. So good. Tunic.
Oldie but a goodie.
Pulling Tunic from Bolton.
One day I might have to get this cold foil axes.
And we got a Null Run Hood coming in too, because you're still Vis, etc.
Tell you another thing that's interesting as I was looking at this. Used to, it's like, well, what am I going to drop to play extra Arcane Barrier, right? So you play the gloves, the Vex and Coils, of course. And then you have the Crown of Dichotomy if you want to go to 2.
Man, you're speaking a good language. That Crown of Dichotomy, I think, is awesome.
I love that card. But then it used to be, okay, you definitely replace the boots because you're not getting rid of Skeleton. No Skeleton anymore. It's like, wait, no Run Robe coming right back in here. Anyways.
It's amazing what those kinds of changes will do, right?
But, you know, who plays Wizard even?
Who plays Wizard?
Might be important soon. All right, let's get in here. We're gonna start with Tunic.
I'm gonna do this Blue Warriors Valor, but I think
this game might take more than 6 turns.
Might end up being Time Snap in the scheme of things.
Wouldn't it be funny if it was like 3-turn game after all this?
It probably, I wouldn't doubt it. It's not. I don't think it's that lower octane, and that's the question. That'll inform a lot of decisions. It's just like, is the game actually slowed down at all?
We're about to find out.
Fixing to find out. Ooh, those lines are so helpful.
They really, really are, though.
Okay, and then Brave Forge. Yeah, great. The game sets up well, doesn't it? Just very nice. Let's get these bad boys into some copper.
It does set up very well. Even Steven?
Yeah.
It's even, Steven.
Going first, I think we decided that's right.
Yeah, I mean,
don't want you to build a bunch of rune chants.
Yeah, I don't think letting this go first is correct on any level.
Get that Tunic. And I'm going to shuffle this really well, so just bear with me.
You know what? I'm going to hang out. Let's have a question of the day.
Quad.
Bring in the logo. For now, we can just bring in the Wolfpack update thing just one more time. But question of the day. In the past week of Fab, here it is. What is your favorite thing? Revealed, announced, changed, whatever. What's the number one thing that happened in the past 7 days of Fab that got you most excited? And you know what? If you're watching this years from now, you can still answer this question. Got to double dip on this one. You're going to get comments on this one for years to come. A lot of discussion going on axes versus sabers in the chat room.
As there must be. It wouldn't be sabers. It wouldn't be an axes deck if it wasn't a sabers versus axes conversation. Which I think is really good. I mean, it's nice that both of them are close enough to be viable.
Ryan saying Draconic Illusionist that cares about red cards. Brett saying the piece of art of the Fire Ninja. Ricard saying a hero hit living legend. Viserai and Blitz.
We didn't even talk about that.
Murph. Yeah. Dragons got me most excited. Yeah, I'm excited about that. Yeah. Spit's gone in Blitz.
Yeah.
Which is cool.
Yeah.
Because of and they nerfed Kano, presumably.
Yeah, they did it all weirdly. Yeah. Like snapback and stuff. That seems so essential to his whole kit.
Don't know, man.
Doesn't seem like the problem.
Lewis saying, no, Gimmicker saying, Wizard looking like a class you can maybe finally play on a budget. That's cool.
Yeah. Lewis asking, a must-have card for Dory Axis. Can you build it on a budget? The must-have card is Valiant Dynamo. I don't know what the price is on it, but it is a legendary.
I think the Rainbow Foil is like 100. Frank, I love this, saying, favorite thing is started watching your Fab series. Love the vibe and excited to learn. Awesome. Well, welcome, Frank. So happy to have you here. John saying, Dragons. A lot of O's. Murph saying, Commoner also has me really hyped. Commoner is really cool. I almost wish the Team Blitz event was a Commoner format.
Yeah.
Let's see the Fab announcement. They were supposed to announce that
more Surely about someone would have said something, right?
I mean, it's a little weird because it's inside this little article. It's in the 9th layer of the...
Is that the 17th entry on the homepage, or is it now the 5th? Or?
It's not there yet. I want to know more about this team format specifically. That's probably the thing. Of all the things, it may surprise you, but there being the team calling is probably my favorite thing that happened this week.
Nice.
Bobby, do you think there'll ever be an Ice Dragon? I mean, a lot of stories have Ice Dragons on. Just kidding. Maybe. I could see that. If Icelander's in this set, I mean...
Ian Riley here saying, I know I'm posting after the fact, but if X values can't be reduced, then you'd also have to do X values can't be increased. That is not true.
Because you could literally just say X values can't be reduced.
Yeah, so I think if I remember looking at the framework, you declare the X value, and then you apply reductions. So this is how all cost structures work in the game, is you establish the cost, you pay the cost, and or you reduce the cost. So an X value has its cost established, and then it's an X value. Therefore, it cannot have that cost reduced in the cost reduction step of the framework.
Hello, Monday. Check this out. We did a commoner for our army last night. It was such a blast. Pummel Chain was so much fun.
Great.
I started looking to build commoner decks.
Pummel gets good in everything where things are restricted.
Yeah, but dude, commoner is no joke. Like, I was looking at Viserai cards. It's hilarious how different it is.
Yeah, I mean, I would live for that. Live for that format. Okay, let's draw some cards. Imagine we're in an Arsenal first turn situation.
I'm excited about this. I have not played Vis since the changes, so here we go. We'll see if my time practicing without Skeleton Rosetta pays off.
Pass.
Boo. But I want a mulligan. Tunic. Bumblebee Tunic. Oh.
Ooh, well.
Let's pay 2, create a rune chant with my Grasp of the Arcane. You have tokens around.
Oh man, I got so many tokens. What do you want? What kind of tokens do you want?
I'm gonna need a couple resources and a couple pieces of armor. 4 armor tag.
These are the majestic tokens that you can find on our website. We find them to be very helpful in tracking various values in the game.
Also the boards that we're using for reference.
Oh yeah, I need some health too.
What is health?
Just a resource, as they all say. All the kids. They all say it. Health is a resource. Health is a resource. Health is a resource. It's like pieces are resources in chess. Score is a resource in football.
It is.
I mean, what are you trying to say here? You know.
I'm gonna play a red meet and greet. 1 rune chant pops. 4 damage coming at you. If the rune chant hits, meet and greet is gonna have go again.
And so you're saying I'm going to activate the boots, or I'm just going to accept that this is not going to hit, or you have some kind of an attack reaction that could make an impact.
A lot of things I could be saying. Tyler's saying Rosetta and is even crazier in Commoner. So my problem with the Rosetta and Commoner, for this at least, was he just doesn't have access to go again. Like, he loses Mauvrian Skies, he loses Swarming Gloomveil. For cards like Meet and Greet to have go again, they have to take arcane damage. And in Blitz, particularly that format, you get a bunch of armor choices. So it's a lot tougher for him to pull off Rosetta in my mind.
All right, I'll play. You're going to Arsenal here. I don't think I need to block that, but I'm going to. Activate Arcane Barrier 1, block the Ruin Chant. Sink below on the meet and greet.
Perfect. Past end phase, Arsenal. I think covering up that arcane damage was not unwise.
I didn't want you to creeper. Just cost me 2 cards, block 4. Technically 5, I suppose. Red Warrior's Valor. Hatchet a body for 5. Go again if it hits. And, you know, all the rest. Take this up. I want to also we should make it clear. We joke about using an instant to activate the tunic all the time because sometimes you forget and then you establish really bad habits like me. However, you can't do that in reality. Somebody was asking about that in the Discord last night.
That's good. Good to
No, in a tournament, I would just have missed that and probably lost the game.
1 second. Let go.
I've never seen a Vis player have to think. This is different. I'm uncomfortable. Usually you just say pass. What's going on?
Yeah. Well,
I don't like this at all.
It's not the same.
Take Care Lewis from Guatemala. That's great. That's great.
All right. No block.
Great.
Take 5.
Take 5. Activate. Go again, etc., etc. Technically, Dory is active.
Chaos Theory. You want to know the real reason Courage is greater than Tunic? You don't remember your counters anyway.
That's true, yeah. Can be the case.
We were swinging.
Hatchet for 3.
Take 3.
Arsenal.
Tunic up.
Tuna Cat.
Let's go E-Strike. We're going to choose Go again. I have to put a card on the bottom of my deck. Here.
This here?
This here. This here Bigsby.
E-Strike for what?
5 would Go again.
5!
Fair, Steel, and Baseball. 2 cards for 5. Who's even playing that card?
Yeah, nobody, this is all very acceptable.
We're getting back to the basics here. I feel like I'm playing fair again. It's great. I actually love it. Hubo Sand, are people generally lenient with reversing game state to take up the Tunic? Most people, as long as nothing's happened, especially at like a local casual event, like we do it all the time here. But, you know, once you get to like a calling or something, a lot of times
you got to establish your habits. I'll take 5.
you got to do it. All right. Let's play your favorite and mine, Mordred Tide. Pay 2. Trigger this to create 2 run chance. No grasp. 1 floating. We'll go Revel and Runeblood.
Yay!
Create 7 more. Swing a sword. 9 instances of Rune Chant arcane damage. 2 on the sword, 2 physical on the sword after that.
So 9/2/2.
That's what we call an old 18er.
9 is, you got me.
9, and then 2/2.
2 arcane I'll take. And then Dynamo here. For sure. And that'll be that. I'll take 1.
You got it. Look who's back.
Back again. Okay. Let's see what we can get into here. I haven't quite worked this out, but I think I'm ready to start anyway. Sublade Supremacy. I'm going to pitch a yellow Warriors Valley.
And you have to choose a weapon?
Yeah, this one.
The old Hatch of the Body.
And then I'm going to swing. For 4. Pin hits a draw card.
Card's name?
2.
No go again presently.
Nothing. Can you imagine?
That smells like Glint.
Glint or just Blade Runner. I mean, I have 9 Blade Runners. That's the standard axe play pattern.
Yeah. So you're going to get go again. But I can stop you from getting a card.
Take out my Tunic.
Speak of the devil. And he shut up here.
I'll just look at yours and add 1.
Hilarious. Well, we got a block again. What is going on here?
This is uncomfortable.
What am I supposed to do about that? That's 4, you said. All right. 2 cards in hand, pitch, 2 reactions. Tunic.
Previously, you could Skeleton Gloves this.
I do declare. I mean, so I'm just looking at. I have a. What is this? 5, 6, 7. Yeah, that's 11. 15 damage turn.
You feel lucky?
If I take your turn, you're coming in for 4. I'll say each of those cards are worth 3. And a tunic, so 9, 12 more. 16. You take me down to 16. I take you down to 8. You probably can't keep doing that. Or I can be patient.
You got a new Vis mindset you gotta have now.
Yeah, I can't just be guns a-blazing.
You're not just strictly better.
Yeah, usually it's like, well, the next 4 cards are going to also be worth 15. So, like, let's just keep pushing the gas. I just don't know, man.
I like it. I like that it's confusing. It's a healthier game right there. Having to think, make decisions. Like, if you had Skeleton that last turn and you just had, like, 8 Ruin Chants or 9 Ruin Chants, you may just pop that in Sonata in the game.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
I definitely could do that kind of thing. I mean, I just found a better line.
Oh, no, it's worth 17 damage. Well, the suspension has succeeded. And then we can declare victory. This is having to think.
No block.
Mm-hmm.
I'm also just having to learn a new play pattern here a little bit.
I'm going to instant speed the Tunic and react with a Blade Runner. Red, give it go again. Next attack is +3. I'm going to draw a card for Steel Blade Supremacy.
Take 4.
Take 4.
Well, boom.
This can now attack again.
Mm-hmm.
To draw me cards. Interesting situation here. I have cards in different area codes. So I could get +1 here.
Okay, so you're making a really good point here. Well, we're taking the time to break this down. It is a good time to remind everyone out there. Be sure you're sitting there really enjoying yourself, watching us, hanging out. Keep that brain hydrated. Preferably out of an HCE3 free vessel that holds water.
It's always funny. See, I mean, that's such a signal, man. I think, given the hand that I have, this is the interesting decisions in Fab here. So your ideal pattern is you want to swing Hatchet of Mind and then come back to Hatchet of Body. So this is going to be a 3 damage attack, and this would be a 3 damage attack. But I can take another 2 damage attack, so basically I'm -2 damage off of this exchange. But I see the card draw before my last attack. And it could be that I draw into something that I can play afterwards, like a Snatch or a Flock.
I mean, it's a 7 damage swing, right?
Yeah, it will be 7. Now, it could be swing for essentially 4, swing for 8. Because this is going to be +1 because this was the last hatch of this one. You really want to alternate, but because the card draw is only on this weapon, you almost want to go back to this weapon to see what card you get.
Especially because the Blade Runner +3 is only this next one, right?
Yeah, definitely. But you're not blocking. If you didn't block that first one, you are not blocking this.
You're right.
So then it's basically like, what are the, you have to ask, what are the odds that your deck is going to give you something that actually changes the math?
That is the question.
That's worth at least 2 damage.
Norian asking a really important question here. Does whiskey hydrate?
I don't think it does.
Does not have what plants need,
Okay.
Brett saying, no lie, that supremacy is feeling clean.
Yeah.
I think
I'm going to go for the card here on 2 damage out. So I'm going to pitch here the Blue Blade Runner to activate Brave Forge. So the next attack is going to be +1. And then this would be 4, 7, it'd be 8 if I swing that hatchet. Or otherwise, I could swing here for 7 and then come back here for 5. And draw a card. I've already got plenty of resources. I don't need that. Man, I'm a value man. I got to take the damage, right?
Yeah, I think so.
I got to take the damage. Okay. Hatchet of Mine coming at you.
For 5.
For 5.
Take 5.
So it's 3.
Well, no block.
It's more than 5.
6.
3, 6, 7 for Brave Forge.
Okay. No block.
Take 7. Oh, I got to react to that. Glint out of the arsenal there. Man,
there it is. Almost blocked like a dummy.
Like a freaking dummy.
Would have been the same, that a card effect.
Yeah. It was a card draw no matter what. And then Hatchet of Body comes back at you for 3 because Hatchet of Mine was the last hatchet. For 5 for Steelblade Supremacy and drawing a card.
If it hits.
If it hits, yeah.
No block.
Take 5. And then I'll arsenal here.
All right, turn 3.
That card would not have mattered to the game plan, so I'm glad I didn't go for that. Yeah. Wow. It's funny.
Let's go blue Oath of the Arknight.
What's that card do?
Creates a rune chant. Makes my next rune blade attack +1. Because it's blue. Swarming Gloomveil. 1 rune chant's going to pop. 1's going to get created. Gloomveil's getting +1 from Oath of the Arknight. It's getting +1 from itself because it played 2 auras this turn. So you have 1 arcane coming at you, 4 physical, 5 physical, no hit effect. Currently.
No hit effect.
Currently.
Why no hit effect?
Because I have to do the 3rd.
Have you created 2 auras or something?
1 is go again, 2 is +1, 3 is the hit effect.
Okay. Okay. Well, 1 coming at me, 1 in the pipe. You have 1 card remaining. Pathetic. What could you possibly do with that card? You said you had a massive turn. It's going to be Revel or something, right?
No one's saying anything about massive. Anything.
I'm here to block rune chance and chew bubblegum, man.
That's right, man.
I'm going to block that Ruiny, and I'm going to throw my boots into this, and I'm going to declare end of defense.
Pass reactions.
Pass. Take 4?
4. Call me in the morning. Swing a sword. 1 arcane, 2 arcane, 2 physical.
Block 1 arcane.
Yep.
Block 1 of 2 arcane. Take 1 arcane. And 2 physical, he says. Block 2.
You got it. Arsenal pass.
Navigating some weird hands here, bro. Let me tell you something, Bandero. Yeah, Norian, he was at 5 because of the +1 from Oath. 1. Here. For the tunic. Let's do Hatchet of Body coming at you all natural for 2.
No block.
We will Glint. Brave Forge. Swing Hatchet of Mine for 4.
Block 2.
Take 2. Recharge Dynamo.
We got one of them classic 5-card Runebladers.
That was the old all blue hand that we were having to work through, and I assume this will be all red, but I suppose we'll see.
You love to see it. Alright, let's go do that.
It's that first shuffle. Once you order that deck, that first shuffle, garbage. Garbage.
What's that worth? Okay. Let's go Blue Maverick. So the play I previously was doing left me with no Arsenal and no Tunic resource. And then I found a play that did a little less damage, but I could Arsenal Maverick and keep my Tunic.
Yeah, it seems good.
Which, based on the health totals, I assumed I could get under you to use my Skull Cap and then have a much bigger turn this turn.
Yeah.
To then keep you on pressure points.
That's called ProQuest plays right there.
Yeah.
Quick question here from Chaos Theory. What was that last turn? So last turn, Supremacy was 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 16 damage, recharge Dynamo, card in Arsenal. So 17 value, technically 20 value if you value a card in Arsenal, and I had an extra, so it could have been better.
Spellblade Assault coming in for 4. Creates 3 rune chance because of Viserai and this ability, and then if it hits, it creates another rune chant.
He shan't hit. Pass defense, good reactions.
Pass. He just keeps having those.
I'm sunk.
We're going to amplify the Arknight. 3 pop. 1 gets created. It's coming in for 6.
No go again.
Physical. No go again. Presently. It's never too late to pay 1, use the boots, play the revel, swing the sword. But that's probably not what it is.
It probably is that. That's all right.
I don't know if that's true.
Jeb, I did draw and then decide on Arsenal. Of course, of course. Okay, so I know that I want these things. So let's just put you through the grinder here. It's not quite perfect. This attack hitting, there's never going to be consequences for that, right?
Just damage.
Yeah. So let's go ahead and AB3 here.
Okay.
And then let's go... Dynamo. And then reactions.
Pass.
Go ahead and sync here for 4. I'm going to choose not to sync a card.
Okay. Take 1. And then Arsenal pass.
That's not the this I know.
It's a very fair turn.
Your boy is playing them boots now. Alright, Tunic up.
That is.
Hatchet of Body coming at you for 2. Pitching a blue there. Where's my skeleton? How different is it? Is it different?
Well, it's mildly different.
It feels different on this end. I'm about to see my second Tunic turn. What? Come again? Who is this Dark Lord? And why is he so weak now?
Alright, I'll block here.
For 1?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I'll react with a blue Blade Runner. Not my favorite. Take 1.
Mm-hmm.
And then we'll swing the hatchet for 4.
Yeah, no block.
You got it. And I'll recharge my booties.
Down to 7. Oof. Who made this? Who designed this? Alright. Let's go. Red Marvin.
Oof.
What?
It's just so weird. Yeah, he had less health than me. DOA. It's so weird. These hands. We'll have to play it again.
Okay. We're gonna go red meet and greet off the tunic. 1 pops, 1 gets created. If it hits, I'll create 4 run chants.
Boy, I feel like blocking those run chants has been the death of you this game. I'm gonna have to keep doing it.
Steven's on 17. DOA.
Not the way we want to do it, but the way we're going to do it. We gotta force you to use his boots, right? If you're gonna come at me here. Pitch Yellow Warriors about me. Block 1 Arcane.
Yep.
And then block 4.
2 cards in hand?
2.
What is more important? Yeah, let's do that. Let's pay 1 for Ruinblood Incantation. Here.
Did this have go again somehow?
From Auburn.
Oh, right on. Yeah.
Then I'll pay 1. It's all red.
Yeah.
Just all red everywhere.
I lived that life myself.
Swing a sword. 2, 2, and 2.
Okay. Let's see what we want here. I'm gonna try to play it cool, man. But no, I don't like it. I myself is on the yellow-red hand as well. There's 1 yellow and then the, you know.
I'm with it. Chaos Theory, listen. I don't like admitting it, but the proof is in the pudding. The turn-over-turn value you've been generating from the axes is definitely legit.
Well, that's wonderful. I'm glad I could be at least a scientific kind of situation here. It's pretty good. I mean, it's a lot of value. It's value in a can. But this is really the question you got to ask, because I could go double axe swing next turn right now.
The value.
And right now you're threatening 6, so I could take 5, double axe swing. I'm still only threatening 5 back. So it doesn't get you to lethal. You've got plenty of blocks, and it's not going to get the job done. So this is an instance where I will be saying block 1, ruin chant, take 1, take 2, 4, and then block 2.
You got it.
And then my turn is going to be Arsenal Pass, and I hope your 4-card hand
Don't forget your tunic.
is horrible.
Start my turn, tunic.
And I hope I get a
Chant.
beautiful, well spread. Norian saying axes are awesome. They cannot beat Oldhim though in any world. Yeah, that's I think we all can agree on that.
Well, it's not my worst hand. Dude. Mortartide. That's how you know it's not the worst hand.
Mm-hmm.
Right, we're going to play a very fair and square Sonata.
Yeah.
Creates 2 run chance. Looking at the top 3. You feel it? Hold on.
I don't like it. No, I don't like what you're doing at all.
Blue spell whistle. Blue spell Viserai.
Oh, here we go. It's a total dunk.
Red Amplify the Arcanine. He whiffs. Completely fair card. It's all right.
Oh, I'm sorry. That's a bummer. Not sorry, actually. I love it.
Look at this guy.
Look.
Why are we still friends?
My favorite part is the part where you don't win.
I never count Sonata. It's a good way not to get disappointed by it.
That's right. It's like friendship.
Red Rune Flash. 3 rune chance pop. 2 get created. Come on now.
Has go again.
It does have go again. Built. It's right there on the card.
Yeah. You got 1 card left.
Would be pretty sweet if I had an attack there.
I don't count on it, but I will say.
Yeah, it would have been sweet. Yeah.
In the grand scheme.
The upside and an extra arcane damage. I mean, I'm not counting.
But I would count it as
did I miss 4 or 5 in value plus
yeah.
a murdered out 6, 7 in value? Yes, I did. I did miss 6 or 7 in value, but
I'm not counting on it.
I'm not counting on it.
That's the important
This
piece.
is a fine turn. It's 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Assuming I swing the sword, maybe more.
It's the important
Who's
piece.
to say, really?
Okay. Now, come on. Let's think about this. Oh, are you going to swing the sword or are you going to arsenal a card? Now, I know you love arsenaling cards, which is why I think you're pretty good at this game.
Why would I arsenal a card? Why would I want to start next turn with 3 rune chance? No reason. Okay, there's a whole lot of reason. But, you know, if you take 7, maybe I swing. You know?
And nobody can concentrate with this onslaught happening. That's what I do to you all the time.
I know. That's why I've gotten so good at not paying attention to you on stream. It's like, do not pay attention.
Oh. Okay. Serious business here.
I didn't even know I said that much. Marky says his favorite Zach catchphrase is, come on now.
You just say it all the time.
Come on now.
I can't verify that. Yeah, you say it all the time. Okay, all right. So, hold on a second. Let me just run some.
Who's doing the thinking now?
Run some scenarios. I currently have 14 health. Let's say I take 7. I've got 7 left. Let's say you just swing the sword. So I'm taking 6 from Rosetta. I can block 2 with Brave Forge. I'm still got 3 health to play with, and I've got a turn like you wouldn't believe.
Smells good.
Now, if that card is any attack, I can't imagine it being an attack that's greater than the sword swing. I can't imagine that to be the case.
Worst card this could be for you.
Birthday? No. Is there anything you play for free off of those 2 run chance?
Drawn to the Dark Dimension?
That's not the best thing. Well, I guess you could draw a card. Yeah.
That's not what we asked. You asked to kind of play a card for free off this.
What is the worst card that can be? The make a bunch of ruin chance?
I think, no, because I have to swing.
You have to swing, yeah.
I think the best card this could be is another Sonata. 2 rune chance, look, do an arcane damage, draw a card, and then either swing a sword or play like an Amplify the Arknight for free.
So that would change. That would mean I would be in kill territory.
Yeah, like if it is Sonata into, let's say, Amplify the Arknight, then that's 9 more damage instead of just the 4 here. Mm-hmm. So it goes to 11 total happening.
This one goes to 11. Meantime, I'm calculating my turn out here for 5.
Andrew Barnum saying my favorite Zachism is holy smokeroni, smokerinis, and permutations thereof.
16.
It's hilarious.
If you don't have that, I have to play the odds here. I've seen 1 Sonata just now. That's the only Sonata I've seen.
There's that Sonata there.
Not there.
Right there. You've seen 1.
And there's a lot of cards here that could be Sonata.
Yeah. Including this one. It's not Sonata. No way, right?
Okay. But also, if I just play it cool here, we have to look at that play too.
Yeah, because you're, I don't know, 7 ahead.
Take no damage, take no damage. Swing at you for 1, 2, 3. And then swing at you. It's not enough to get the job done, though. I need all these cards to fully realize my plan. In a tournament, what would you do? Would you take the safe bet, or would you assume they don't have the Sonata and that you can take the Sword Swing, etc., and feel like you have a counterattack that means you probably win? Let me see what your blocking potential actually would be.
I mean, if you don't... The thing is, let's say it takes 7. You'll know if I hit that thing, and then you can start blocking.
Yeah.
But, like, blocking this doesn't change the math that much, actually.
It gives me 1 more value out of the 3 block.
Yeah, but, like, 1 more value versus shot at ending the game.
That's
I know what I'm going for.
All right, so I'll take 7.
Wait, Arsenal pass. You just gotta make him sweat, man. You know? You asked me, what's the best card I can have right here? I told you.
These are really the pro plays, aren't they? All right, well, here's a Spill Blood. Found 1.
Best hand of the game right here in my hand.
Spoils of War there.
Cool.
And then Hatchet of Body.
+2 dominate.
So 6 dominate coming at you. With Go Again.
I mean, hit effect gets you coppers.
It sure does. Yeah.
Don't want to die.
I don't want to die. I just want to ride my motorcycle.
Okay. Play that.
I don't want to die.
Coming in for 6?
6, yeah.
All right. How many cards in?
2. That I expressly did not block with. I'll have you know.
And this already has to go in.
It sure does, yeah.
So 1's a hit and run.
And watch out for those coppers, too.
Yeah, and that's what I'm nervous about. Actually. Alright. That's my Arsenal card. Block for 7.
Okay.
One of these things is not like the others.
I will close the chain.
Ooh, I get my equipment back. Well, one of my equipments.
So that I can play a hit and run. Pitch. Hatchet of Mine for 7. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Dominate.
Oh my goodness. Oh, that's so much better than it could have been for me. No resources, no cards. You have 1 resource, no cards.
That's right.
And this has to go again.
That's right.
So you're swinging the other axe after this.
I will be swinging this axe again. Because this one didn't hit, so it can't swing again from Dory's ability. This one doesn't hit, I can't swing a 3rd time.
Yeah, but it's coming in for 7.
That's right.
With Dominate.
With Dominate, that's correct, yeah.
Let me tell you a story. So we'll swing that one again, and that one's going to be at...
I come in at 4 Dominate.
4 Dominate, yeah. Well, we gotta do some things here. So I go 3, 5, take 2, and then 4.
Yeah, 7 here, and then 4 coming.
Yeah. 3, 4, 5. Never even got to use the boots.
Oh,
gosh darn it.
Kiss videos, hot girls, shower time, or
You
whatever.
got it? You want me to get it?
I keep blocking. I don't know if Restream. I assume it sends it through to all the platforms. So what are you blocking? 5?
5, yeah, I'll take 2.
All right. So Dory will trigger on Hatchet of Mind. And then I will Tunic, swing 4 Dominate.
Just by the skin of my teeth, my man. No block.
All right.
Down to 1.
Recharge the Dynamo.
Woo! Create a tune. The old tune chant.
Oh, it's 5 Dominate. That's right. It's relevant. I'm so wrong on that. So it's whenever you attack with this, it gets +1 until the end of the turn. if it was the previous body. So it is 5, so I'm going to get another card off of you. Sorry, you got to call their bluff. Illegal game state.
That changes everything.
I got to tell you, I've never played a Dory Access game where the dominate attacks aren't 1/2/1. So this is my first time ever actually seeing that in probably 40 games.
Convenient story.
Here, get your health back if you want to look at it differently. Yeah.
I'll just block with a card.
All right, so it was coming in for 5-3, so you take 2. You originally took 4, so you gain 2 health.
Look at that.
And here you go, right there in the lobby.
Well, in that case, hold on, back it up. I thought I was going down only there. I'll block with a 3.
Okay.
And gain an extra life. Is that accurate?
I actually thought you had blocked with a 3, yeah.
Oh, I blocked with a 2. So this gets me the 2 extra life.
That gets you 2 extra life.
Okay. Here we are. Mine?
All yours, yeah.
Spellblade Assault from Arsenal. 3 pop. 2 get created. 4 physical coming at you.
No go again.
Yeah. No cards in hand, nothing. It is what it is. As
the kids say.
Yeah. It's problematic. I need that extra card.
It's problematic.
So, just so we're on the value train. If I have the extra card, I Mavrian Skies, pitch, come in for 2, have 1 floating, swing the sword. And this is 3, so it's 3/2/2 after this.
That's pretty good.
Yeah. But,
Okay, so the 3, I don't think there's a world where we're blocking the 3, so we can just take that up front here. Mm-hmm. Is there a world where we block this 4? There is.
That's what the Lord made equipment for.
That's what the Brave Forge bracers are for, isn't it?
That's right.
Yeah, I mean, there's some lines here. There's some lines here. Yeah. Okay, we'll do bracers for 2.
Take 2?
Yeah. Still a very dangerous place to be on Venice. Let's go Supremacy. Hit and run. Give the next attack. Go again. Coming at you 4. If it hits, I draw a card.
1 card in hand.
And I will Tunic up, although I assume I have to use this to block shortly.
And you block with the bracers, right?
And I'll block with the Dynamo, too.
Gotcha.
Just go ahead and reverse all of that. And do it correctly. Is anybody calling me out on that in the chat, probably? Yeah, Brett is. Brett's on it. Brett's hip. What's 4 anyway? Swinging at you.
Yeah, let's just get over it. Block 6.
I'm gonna go +3 Iron Song response.
Yeah.
Draw a card. At your body can technically swing again. If we're into that. And we are. Because it's going to be +2. Hatchet of Mind is going to be +1. So let's go Brave Forge swing, probably. That's going to be coming in for 5, which is another annoying number for you. So pitch, Brave Forge, Hatchet of Body for 5. Draw if it hits.
Black card.
You got Dynamo free. Let's see what kind of a brick hand we can get.
Start my turn, create a enchant. Pass back to you.
Right.
Woo! It ain't good.
Tunic Party. Okay. Well. We've got ourselves an interesting situation here, don't we?
Justin asked me what camera we use for the overhead. Fujifilm X-T3 looks like.
That's right. Nailed it.
It's right there on the out frame.
I've got some copper too, so watch out for that. I know I'm running cash in, so don't worry about it.
I'm not watching at all for it, I guess. Is the moral of that story.
Okay, see, we got to be careful still here. We've got to try to find a way to finish this thing.
Closing a game is the name of the game.
Yeah, it's kind of like I'm going to have to wait and try to get Tunic and find another Spell of Blood here.
I like hearing that.
Well, here's some things we know we're going to do.
I like the sound of that. Comment coming in from Gamma Fighter. Doesn't feel fair for Legend Story Studios to make me so hyped about a set 2 months
I know,
before
though.
release.
That's true, though.
Devastating.
That's true.
Whatever shall we do? Whatever shall we do?
Okay, so, I mean, this is fine. You block with one. Block with one. Gotta block, and I mean, one card is not bad for you. Suppose it worked. I think this is wrong.
I regret my decision.
Hatchet Body with Go Again. Coming at you for 4.
2 cards.
That's right.
Well, I gotta dig out of this thing at some point. Am I right? I think I'm right. I don't know, man.
Mark me.
You got a reaction, right? I mean, you're gonna have the. I know you got all the slice
I
and
don't
dices.
know what you're talking about.
I guess Black 6. I hate it.
Yeah.
I hate it for me.
Snatch for 4.
It hurts. What have I done? Block 3.
All right. Take 1 and draw. And it's back to you.
Saying this is my chance.
Do your dance.
I gotta make a dream come true here.
It's the Space Jam.
It's been a good game.
Yeah.
All right. I'm gonna play Gorgonian Tome.
Oh, you're right. That's a way
This
to
is
do
the
it.
perfect card. Literally, when I was like, I'm gonna keep the Gorgonian, there's one card I was like, this would be the ideal thing to draw, which is Amplify the Arcanite. 3 pop, 1 gets created, and you have 6 physical coming at you after that.
Okay.
I can't believe that was on the top of my deck. It's like hitting one of those Marvel cards. Woo! Let's go.
I've got a big question here.
Evan says, Amplify? No way.
That's a good card here.
What do you say?
That's a good card to have here.
It's so good. It potentially buys me tempo back into the game.
Yeah.
Once I get on top of the tempo, I feel fine.
But instead, I think you're not going to get back on top.
It's the best I can do.
Yeah. You definitely have to give it a shot. 4. Yeah.
Kevin, why wouldn't it be Amplify?
Okay. Dangerous game we're playing here, bud. Dangerous game.
Just waiting to get that next Sonata, and I can pay a couple and just nuke it out of the sky.
Block 3 there.
Uh-huh.
Block 2, 3, 4.
Oh my.
Take 2.
Woo! Down to 1. The danger zone.
Crossing Zach was obviously pitch stacking.
What'd you say?
Zach was obviously pitch stacking.
That's right.
You're definitely back to your first hand, right?
Yeah. No.
I'm going to sadly pitch this blue steel blade. I was hoping you'd swing the sword.
Just death.
To play a Spellblood.
Now, does the arcane from this happen before that happens? Just asking for a friend.
I believe it does. Yeah. Because the physical, I would have to. Swing 4 dominate.
I'll be right back. Drat. He got me.
Go again. Tunic. Swing 5 dominate.
Dunked on me.
7 dominate.
Moral of the story. This is unplayable.
This is dead.
Just kidding. Just kidding. Let's try that again. You have time to try that again?
Yeah, sure. I got nothing to do but
double feature.
Go home. Do work.
Yeah, I think it actually amazingly all comes back to your first Steel Blade Supremacy turn.
Mm-hmm.
I should have covered it up. So, but that's a classic moment where I wouldn't have been penalized for that decision, the Skeleton.
Yeah.
Because the turn, I could have brought enough heat. My math it's the old school math, right? It's a problem. I was at, I forgot what I was going to be at 18, you were going to be in the teens.
Mm-hmm.
And then I could take the damage and stay on top, basically, but I couldn't stay on top.
Mm-hmm. The old Vis could have.
Yeah.
Norian Spellblood is where it's at. Saying, I love this game so much. It's so good. It's so fun, especially when it's tightly wound.
Yeah.
Like, this feels way more like 50-50 right here.
Yeah.
This is basically, we designed this entire stream to prove to Chaos Theory that Axes is what you should be playing.
Literally before we started, Steven said the goal here.
Spellblood and Axe value.
All right.
I don't know how Sabres ever closes that game, to be honest with you. I really don't.
Carl says, how can you not love this?
You want to go first? Let's switch it up.
Sure.
See what happens.
Tunic out.
Have we decided, can you fatigue a good chain player on all 3 blocks? And 6 equipment?
I think from the chain players I've talked to, anyone who just has a lot of 3 blocks just going in on it is like 50% or maybe better.
Just based on Art of War banishes and stuff?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And just like, man, oh man, this turn.
That's awesome, Nora said, I brought Axe's Door to the Indie Calling and only lost to Prism because of you, Steven. Man, 3 lead the charge. You could main deck some time snaps. I feel okay. Anyone with 2 weapons and lead the charge has some play into Prism.
Okay. I love Rune Blade.
Isn't it? It's more fun to love when it's not like busted.
Totally.
It's like
I like this way more.
Way better, right?
I like this way more. But playing against Starvo, I really miss Skeleton. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah. Don't I?
All right, let's play a Sonata. Pain 2. This is a fair Sonata. Look at 4. It's for 1. Okay.
All right, how many cards you got? You got a bunch of cards. Oh my gosh, 2 cards and you're about to get a Spellblade Assault. So you're going to make more Roonies?
Roonies and Toonies.
Roonies and Toonies. Man's got nothing but Roonies and Toonies. I don't... And you're going to swing that sword, right?
I mean, so the Arcane at this point, if you have a blue, there's a number of cards in my deck that it could be activated.
Yeah.
Because you take the 1. If you're going to get the cards back anyway. Now, how important that blue is to the rest of your hand.
Like, how important the blue is to just not brick this next story hand is a good question, right?
Yeah.
But I've got a secondary option, so I'll pitch that blue blade runner to block the arcane.
All right, now I got to make a choice. Yeah, I think this is the right call.
Thank you, Frank.
Become the Arc Knight. Create a rune chant. I'm gonna ditch an attack. So go get an attack.
This is why you love Rune Blade? Makes you feel like you're playing Pokemon?
Yeah. No, it's because of the possibilities. I can go for the Hail Mary. Could have been, like, if I hit the right 2 attacks there, it's like insanity.
That Amplify drained your luck for the game.
Yeah, it's fine.
Are you the Arc Knight yet? I swear you've been becoming the Arc Knight for like 1,000 games.
I'm gonna go get red, read the runes. I'll play it. Then I'll Arsenal Pass.
Just went ahead and pulled that blue out of my hand and then did nothing. You had a very convincing reason to make a play that was very beneficial for you, so I'm glad that you felt the burn to do that. It's very good. Very nice. Pro play right there, for sure. Pro play. Let's go Tunic. If I had the blue in this hand, it'd be a phenomenal hand.
Really, it's unfortunate that that's what happened to you, but you know what? I just don't feel bad about it.
I don't care. Let's pitch this yellow instead. It's like a blue, just worse.
Strictly, yeah. 3% less resource. Oh, don't you see?
Axe coming at you for 2.
No block.
All right, red Blade Runner. Go again, +3 to the next.
These are the easy ones.
Let me pitch stack that Iron Song response down to the bottom.
That's right.
Hatchet Mine coming in for 6.
No block.
Take 6. Arsenal, pass to you.
Now we feel like a Rune Blade. Tunic. Grounding Tone. Draw a card. Let's go Mordred. Gas time. Red Mavrine.
Hey, Mav.
Let's play. You know what? Actually, hold on. Is that just better? No. Red or blue Shrill. Cost me 2. 8 rune chance pop. I need more dice. 2 get created. If it hits, 4 more will get created.
Well, it can't hit.
Yeah, it's at 5.
5?
Never had this problem. So many crickets.
You've got 1 resource. You're going to swing the sword, right?
Stands to reason.
Five. 1.
Norian Sand Shrill is such a cool card. It is very good. I wish that the yellow and red, it would have been so cool if these gems that are glowing and stuff had been the color of the pitch.
Lottie-dottie, everybody.
Woo! Now that's what I call Rune Blade.
You still got an Arsenal card?
Oh yeah, man. It's gonna get nasty in here.
Huh.
You're not prepared for the heat.
Alright, well, I mean...
It's like a classic wrestling match. I got knocked down.
I'm not blocking 8, okay?
Yeah, so you're taking the 8 arcane. I agree.
Yeah.
Proud of you.
We all agree on that. And then, like a fool, I'm going to use armor early. I'm going to block 5 here.
I don't think that's overly foolish. We're going to play Ravel and Runeblood. Create 7 more.
I feel like Mordred-Tide is like the good card.
Swing the sword. I mean, interestingly,
I'll take 11 arcane damage.
Mordred-Tide created 1, 2, 3, 4 damage.
Yeah, that's true. Okay. It just gives you 1 extra?
Yeah, anytime you would generate. So like this is generating and it makes him generate, so that's 2. This is 3 if it had hit it before.
It's degenerate.
Yeah, but...
so I'll take 11 arcane and then block 1 with the boots. Yep. So I'll take 12 total.
You got it.
That's pretty good. Did you just do... You just did 20?
Yeah.
So you did 25?
Mm-hmm.
That's a 25 damage turn, man.
Yeah.
26 damage turn.
I mean, the only thing I lost is Skeletor, right?
Yeah.
So, like, there's a lot of turns where Vis was playing before without Skeletor.
I'm still good, man.
But I also, like, so I had 5 rune chance from the first turn carrying over. So
yeah, true. That is a big part of this, isn't it? All right, well, you had your big turn. I'll have my big 3-card turn. Activate Tunic. Swing Hatchet of Body. Pitch.
No block.
We're back. Yellow Blade Runner. +2 to the next one.
Yeah, man. The value.
Red Hit and Run. +3 to the next and go again.
Get out of town.
Swing Hatchet of Mind.
I mean, what?
Coming at you for 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 total damage.
I mean, you're clapping back, man. Let's see. No block.
He's taken 8. You know, there's a part of me that just doesn't want to turn your little hat on. There's another part of me that wants to swing for 4. Four damage or a card in Arsenal. A tale as old as time.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like the hat turning on isn't that relevant since you're not wearing the hat.
Yeah, right. This Arsenal card, though, could really mean something.
Could be the best summer of our lives, dude.
I'm gonna Arsenal. I'm gonna go with my better judgment here.
Yeah. That's almost always the right call.
You know, don't you feel that way?
Yeah. It's like 4 damage now, or yeah, almost always. Tunic coming.
Especially coming up on that Tunic turn, it could be notable.
Alright. Red Maruvian. Kind of interesting, actually, because I could do that.
Red Maruvian. I heard somebody else say it like that the other day.
Really?
No lie, yeah, no lie.
Swellblade Assault, 3 gets created. If it hits, 3 more get created. Don't recommend it.
It shall not.
It shan't.
It shall not hit. Okay, is there a better card than this one here for me? Yeah, there really is. You've got one floating there. I'm going to pass the main one and then do this one.
You got it.
I'm going to sink this guy.
Swing the sword. 3/2/2.
Oh, that is notably better. Okay. Interesting world. This 1, 2, 3, 4. You block with a card from hand. You don't block with the Tunic. 3. Yeah, this has got to be better, right? It's got to be better. Okay, 3 is taken.
Mm-hmm.
2 and 2. I'll take 2 Arcane, and then I'll Dynamo 1 and take 1.
You got it. Arsenal pass.
All right, Tunic up. It's 22. What's 22 anyway? 1, 2, 3. Okay. Let's go Yellow Warrior's Valor. Pitch blue. Swing Hatchet of Body. 4. If it hits, it gains go again. Frank Archer, on the new player question, does Arcane and physical damage get blocked in the same way? Do you block Arcane differently? Arcane is not technically blocked. There's a replacement effect called Arcane Barrier, like on the Norrøn Hood. And instead of using defense values on cards, you're effectively trading resources that you generate to prevent damage. So like a blue card can pitch and block 3 Arcane damage from Arcane Barrier. The difference between Arcane Barrier 1, 2, and 3 is relevant, but we're not going to really get into it until you're like confident that you kind of understand the fundamentals, but just know that there is a difference. And that ruin chants are all happening in single instances of 1 Arcane, 1 Arcane, 1 Arcane, 1 Arcane, whereas some wizard things might happen 3 Arcane at once. And if you only have Arcane Barrier 1, you can only block 1 of the 3 in that instance. But there's a lot to check out on that front.
Tim told me when you guys were watching the Evan thing, and I was like looking up and like seeing through the matrix or whatever. I just realized I was just like looking up as I was doing the math. Now I catch myself doing it. No block.
Okay. Take 4. And then I will go again, and this axe can technically swing again. And the inevitable question here, damage or not? A lot to ask. 2, 3, yeah. So what's it worth? How much you've got there? Okay, 8, 10. Ooh, boy.
This is cool. Goblin Reserve saying, the wife and I are new and have just gone back to Welcome to Wraith and are going to play through Fab as it was released. Really cool to experience the game as it was released, learning as we go. That's awesome. That's cool.
That was previously I Hang Jr., seemingly.
The artist formerly known as I Hang Jr.?
That's correct. This is a really great question in just the game.
Want to talk about it?
No.
Okay.
Do you go for the value or do you go for the value? I think you have to go for the value because like you got a 5-card hand coming at me
with a tunic, no less.
Yeah, I mean it's like, you know, brace for impact, right? Hatchet of Mine coming at you for 3.
No block.
Okay, well tunic to play a Blade Runner. Yeah. Give it go again and +3 to the next attack.
Take 3.
Take 3, yeah. And then I'll pitch Spillblood and come at you for 6 with that hatchet.
Take 6.
Yep. What can you do?
Some hands are just not worth blocking.
You just got to take the 6.
We'll see if that was the right decision. Because it stopped a lot of those shenanigans. We're going to play a Sonata. Paying 2.
Oh, that's a Whifferton if I've ever seen
totally
one.
Fair. Like
it's
I said, though,
so
remember,
Whifferton.
remember, mark me. Mark this. Never depend on the Sonata. If this hits for 0, watch the turn. Now, I will say, if it hits for 2, this turn is going to get out of control. If it hits for 1, I'll probably be fine. That's a good one to start with. 3 attacks.
Oh, come on, one more.
Okay, hits for 1.
You get one.
Okay,
You get a good one. You get a good one. Yeah.
Totally fine. All right, let me see what I want to bank on.
Get a good one.
1 Arcane's going to be happening, but I have to pick this
I'm
first.
pitching the 1 Arcane. If that, well, you don't know that yet. Yeah. Maybe I won't.
Yeah, so
Maybe I don't.
You know, like one of these meet and greet, it might very much change your mind, but let's just see.
So for everyone following along at home, that is 2 cards out of hand. 1 card comes back. You sit on 1 resource. So you've lost 2 resources, done 1 arcane damage, and got an attack on the table. That is terribly fair. 2 cards going back in is extremely good.
It's very good. I think it'll end up being the Gloom Veil, but let me think.
All these new, see, you get to play all the new cards that you got. That's the amazing thing too about Everfest with this, and maybe a Ruin Blade, but mainly this and Chain. It's like all of those new cards are in every deck.
Yeah.
It's not the same for Dory. Shatter? What kind of garbage can is that?
You have 9 copies of whatever that card is.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Slice and Dice, right?
Blade Runner.
Or Blade Runner? Yeah, we'll get a Gloom Veil.
Her cards were siloed further. Now you have 1-hand cards, now you have sword cards, now you have axe cards.
I will say,
how many silos we need in this game?
I am playing Shrill, and I do think Red Shrill is pretty good, and I think there's places for those other cards. But it's the Majestics for Runeblade that are almost always the money.
Yeah. Imagine that, right?
Yeah.
It's probably right to block this Arcane, right? I can't imagine where you don't have a sword and a Rune Chant coming at me, so it's 3 either direction, and it maybe turns off boots, so let's go. Or it makes you less excited about boots, so it wouldn't turn them off.
I think it's a smart decision. Let's...
Ugh, I still have 4 cards. This is devastating. I hate it. It's so nerve-wracking. Ooh, it's scary. I don't like it. Ooh. Get away from me. Get your creepy ruined blade. Get. Scoot.
Red meet and greet.
There it was.
For 1?
That's why you block it.
Creates a Rune Chant.
If it hits, create a Rune Chant.
Yeah, it creates 1 because of this, right? But then if it hits, create 1.
It can't hit. And we know you have Gloom Veil, and what's the other one?
You know I have Gloom Veil, you do not know what these are. What's the other one? Nothing. I'm not telling you.
And Gloom Veil is free, is that right? Am I reading that right?
Yeah.
They print those with a 0 cost, really, for real.
0 for 3.
0 for 4, go again.
If I have created an aura, go again. If I've created 2 auras, +1 attack. If I've created 3 auras, then if it hits, you can't block my arcane damage.
I think this is the one that I have to block here. Block 4.
Tunic. Use my
instead of pitching, what the
Spellbound Creepers to play a Revel in Runeblood as a net.
Mm-hmm. Giving you go again?
Yeah.
That's so good.
Gloom Veil.
Disgusting.
6 pop. 1 gets created, and now it's coming up for 4. And if this hits, my arcane damage is unpreventable moving forward.
It won't matter. I'll block 2, take 4.
Mm-hmm.
And then 4 coming in, and then either a sword swing or a card.
Yeah.
So if I don't block anything, best case is I take 9. Doesn't seem like a winning position. You're probably going to arsenal that card, though. Hit effect here doesn't matter. Not really, you know? But if you just pitch for the sword, you may as well 3-block this now. There's no floating hit effect whatsoever. Does 9 is not a magic number for me. Dynamo back in problematic territory.
Luke's saying Red Frill is interesting, basically for damage over the hit effects of Volition and Reek. So it is strictly for damage. The problem with Volition and Reek is that if they block it, then you don't, like, if they block it, you don't get the extra card. And so, like, let's say they block with 2 cards, right? And do a Volition, or they pitch it to cancel an Arcane and then cover up so you don't get it or whatever. But when Red Trills is coming in at 7, for them to not take damage, they would have to use that extra card anyway. But with stuff like Mavrium, where you add a hit effect as well, it coming in at 7 with a hit effect essentially means you have to lose 3 cards to stop me from getting all this value anyway. But if you don't, I get the damage and also the extra damage. But yeah, it is totally damage. I found Consuming and the other one, Reek, especially with the 0/4 reacts, a lot of time it's just 1 card out of hand. Whereas Red Shrill coming in at 7 and possibly creating 3 Rune Chance, it's worth a lot.
We're going to be patient, Zach.
Good. Smart.
Block 3, take 1.
Mm-hmm. We're going to pitch. Come in for 3 Arcane, that's unpreventable, and 2 physical.
Take 3.
Mm-hmm.
And then 2... I don't know, 4 can just get pretty wily. But you're going to have a 4-card hand that's acceptable. Creepers are going to stay online. I think I can save this. But man, you can just pressure so much. I feel like I'm going to take the armor while I've got it. Ugh. Disgusting. My concern here is that if I go to 4 and you do a revel into like 8 chance and I don't have enough blues, I just am going to lose. Let's just see if that's what happens.
YRBD, I did consider going for that exact line.
All right. Taking the 2 from this one.
Okay.
And I'm going to Arsenal and pass it back to you.
Tunic.
Take out my Tunic.
Of course.
Because, you know, you're more prone to the old ruin, blood, potatoes than ever. You don't have skeleton bailout button. Fix your hand with a Sonata. Mm-hmm. Okay.
Spellblade Assault for 2.
Just creates 2 money, does not currently have any ruinies attached. That's quite annoying.
Yeah.
You're going to get 2 cards for sure.
Win agenda. How fair is Revel and why is it unfair? Jesse, I'm going to hit you back. I remember seeing your Discord message and then I checked it and did not respond.
Perfect.
Yeah. It's like text message. You can't unread something.
Yeah.
How?
Are you about to revel? Are you going to revel here?
Well, to Revel, I would have to play a different non-attack first.
Right.
Revel only generates if you have played an attack and a non-attack.
So it has to be the third in the chain.
Yeah.
So you could creepers in something else. If it was Mavrian, you would have already Mavrianed.
Now, reasons to not
Creeper?
Mavrian would be if I Mavrian, I play the next thing with go again.
Yeah.
But I don't really have the resources to do that.
It doesn't
pay
look like
Mavrian, play something, yeah.
All right, no hit effect says I'm going to block this for 3. Take 1 unless you have shenanigans.
I'll pass on the reactions. I will pay 1, activate the creepers again.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to play a blue Whisper. It's just a cheeky way to get go again. Yeah, we're going to leave those right where they're at.
Great.
And then I will swing the sword. 2 arcane, 2 arcane, 2 physical.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't think Nori and I agree. Saying Revel's not that bad. When Skeleta's gone, it's just a conditional 0 for foregoing. Obviously, it can act as resources, but it does have to be the third card you're using, and you have to be able to do something after that point. So it's good on the wide open turns to really pump damage and generate, but especially without Skeleta, that's what was backbreaking about it. When the 5 you generate with this and Revel, or 7 if you're on Mordred, turns into -6 or 7 on top of that to an attack and a non-attack is crazy.
And you just opted those 2 and left them. That's bad news, Bears. Oh,
wait a second. You wanted those cards on the top of your deck?
All right. I'm going to pitch a blue overpower. I'm going to block 2. I'm going to block 1. I'm going to take 1.
Yep.
I take your boots out.
That will take my boots out.
Okay. And then I've got the decision of all time here.
Pretty sure I didn't too.
Right, take it up, man.
I don't know if I did though. I'm not confident enough to actually take it late.
Your last turn, you tunicked. Like you used the tunic. It was your big last turn. Then I arsenal and passed back.
Okay, cool.
And you took 1. Yes. Okay, so man, what a choice here. What does winning look like? Winning looks like swing 4, swing 3, and then surprise you. Stay under your skull cap. I can't be on 1 here. I lose to Rosetta Thorn swing. So we have to block this. We can go Brave Forge Tunic, or we can go card from hand. If we don't go card from hand, we can arsenal. I'm going to take a risk here. I mean, it's risky both directions. I'm going to go Brave Forge Tunic to block that.
Yeah, you got it.
I think if I don't do that, it's like a 0% chance of winning instead of a 5%. And isn't that really what it's all about? You gotta, what do they say? Play to your outs?
Some do say.
All right. Spoils, hatchet for 4 with go again.
No block.
Take 4. And then hatchet for 3.
Block 3.
Okay. And then I'll refresh Dynamo. And I'll arsenal this card and pass it over.
Turn my turn. Tunic.
Hope you didn't get your money that you needed. Maybe it was 2 reds up there.
Mordred Tide, it was 2 reds. It was Mordred and Rattlebones, which I'll play. Create 2 enchants. But then I drew the other cards. We'll get a Gloomveil.
Oof.
Play a Gloomveil. 2 pop. 2 get created. Coming in for 4. If it hits, my rune chance, my rune damage is unblockable.
Block 2.
Mm-hmm.
Block 4.
Yeah. Pitch 2/2/2.
Well, two, 2. Block 1. Block 1. Block 2. Go down to 1. All you have to do is swing the sword. So I have to threaten lethal next turn. Can I? Well, the answer to that's no. You can just draw a bad hand, right?
I can. I absolutely can.
Can you draw a hand where you can't swing the thorn with 4 attacks or something?
Sure. Or 4 non-attacks, or just not go again. I don't have the boots, so there's plenty of attacks in my deck that...
I haven't seen a lot of mob brains this game.
I mean, that is a true statement. 1, 2... You've seen 3 total, and 2 of them are red, 1's yellow. Almost everyone runs blue.
All right, let's block 1 Ruin Chanyu.
Okay.
And then we got to pitch to block 2 more.
So block 1 on the sword.
Yeah, take 1.
Yeah.
Rosetta Thorn, man. What a killer.
She's a beaut.
You talk with a beaut.
That's why I almost thought they might make Rosetta Elemental.
Man, that's my favorite change to this whole game.
And leave Skeletor.
Let me tell you.
Where, like, that's Vis's thing that he does. So, anyways, draw back up.
Snatch for 4 from Arsenal there.
Mm-hmm. Well.
If you can swing the sword, I don't recommend blocking this.
I mean, I can get low enough that you could, like, double hit me with the business. The main thing is if I can block for...
What does that mean?
Like, if you have the react that doesn't want to do damage to me. If I let you just do 4 and I get to 1.
Well, your Arcane would resolve, though, before the thing.
Classic.
Yeah. That's the problem with 2 Arcane at once. This is my problem.
I'll still just block it for 4.
Not even a glimmer of hope?
Nope. Not even a thought. End it.
You do the math wrong. You can't swing the sword.
That'd be pretty miserable. Maruvian, blue. Amplify for 6.
Oof.
If it hits, create a restraint.
It will never hit. I'll not allow it.
If it hits, you also die.
I know.
Dead.
That's why I won't allow it. 6.
Sword.
Block 1. Block 2. Take 1.
He dead.
That's right. Maybe I just need to run Arcane Barrier 2. That would solve that problem, right?
You wouldn't be dead. But you probably would have been dead earlier.
That's right. Yeah. Well, where are we?
I actually think this is, in air quotes, fair. He still has crazy turns, of course. And you saw some of those happening here. It's just, between the creepers and the Skeletor, you're able to smooth out a lot of turns, create a pivot moment, and also explode. Like, the turns that do 20 can sometimes do 30 or more. And you can create advantages so big that it's almost impossible for your opponent to actually claw out of it. So I think he definitely is playing more fair. And we'll see what happens, but I don't know. Like,
I don't think it can. I mean, against Briar and Chain, you're in the same situation we're all in on this.
Yeah, I think he's... And that's the thing to explore, right? In my sideboard, you have to have cards, I think, like Consuming Volition, that penalize people that just don't want to be blocking you.
He does is crazy. He's got that toolkit. I forget. He's got the discard stuff too.
Yeah.
So you kind of do the old control. You're kind of back to mid range, aren't you?
Mm-hmm. If you're not the fastest, you got to be mid range, right?
Yeah, you got to have those control effects, which you have.
Yeah.
Which is really good.
Yeah.
Super good. Okay.
I will say one of the big differences in that game, beyond my early turns were way better here.
Yeah.
The other thing is, I don't know if you played 1 or 0, Steelblade Supremacy.
Mm-hmm. 0.
Or I blocked it. I think it was less. So there was just way less. I got ahead early, and then I could just keep slapping.
Yeah, less explosive stuff.
Yeah.
Which, it's not... I mean, it felt more like the Vis of old, where sometimes he's like an all-star, and then sometimes he's just puttering. Mm-hmm. So that's fun. Dory's right down the middle, though. She's always she's always swinging 2 actions, let me tell you.
Routinely good. But I think...
I'm going to zoom out here.
I think the core design here for Vis is really good. And he got some really helpful tools. Like, cards that were ending the game for me didn't exist before.
Yeah.
Like Rosetta as a basic example of a way to finish.
Yeah.
If this is just the 1-for-3 sword, I don't know if I ever win that game.
Mm-hmm.
Once we get
that's my favorite.
That grind at the end.
Yeah.
So that's where
what I want.
I think he currently either needs Rosetta or Skeletor.
Yeah, some kind of a bigger effect
to have a shot at winning, because he can't. That was the problem. But before all that is, there were games where you would hit your turns over and over, and then you could actually win the game. But if you weren't winning the game, like you can't get in the 5-4 scrum.
You got ground out.
Yeah, he loses that game.
Yeah,
because his biggest value are cards 3, 4, and 5.
Yeah.
So if you're in the trade for 2 cards, you always win that match.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's my favorite thing.
Yeah.
I wonder. I probably just looking at this match. I probably should maybe just do a lot more full blocks on the big hands, and just wait for a less big hand, and then recharge Dynamo, swing with 2 cards, and just like do a real grinder. I'd love to test that and kind of see where that lands.
Yeah.
And I wonder too, if you're thinking about Briar, how is Briar different from Vis in the pace of the game?
I think she more routinely can swing the Rosetta Thorn because she has access to go again so much more readily. Mm-hmm. He's basically got the attack has to have it, or he's got to play Mob Skies. Mm-hmm. She's got anytime you have 2/9 attacks, you can store a go again or use the go again immediately. She also plays a lot more cards that just by default have go again because she's wanting to swing the sword. She also has the big turns because of Mount Heroic. So she and with hit effects that matter. So it's like Snatch for 7 with go again is kind of a big deal.
Yeah.
And then the other thing that she has is she plays way better defense than he does. So she gets the 1 embodiment, her non-attacks block for 3 or 4. Whisper the Oracle, something blocking for 4, Mount Heroic blocking for 4, Force of Nature blocking for 4.
Yeah.
She also plays smaller hands way better. Mm-hmm. Like a lot of times it'll be like I'll Arsenal an E-Strike, I block down to 1 card and I come at you for 7. Or I Arsenal a Ravenous Rabble. And it's like Rabble, Scar for a Scar. I'm swinging for 8 off of kind of 1 card left in hand.
Yeah.
This doesn't really... Even Revel, the cards that were big here, right? Revel and Runeblood, Mordred Tide, Sanat, all the good cards are lots of cards and hand cards.
Yeah, these are big hand cards.
So I think his natural weak point is the end game state. That was always Prism. I would always get it down to 1 and just couldn't win.
The classic.
And so Skeletor plus Rosetta plus the boots plus everything he had going on plus Revel meant that he never had to face that moment. Mm-hmm. He took you from 15 to 0.
Yeah, you didn't get in the grind.
Yeah. But if you ever got him in the grind, that's when you lose.
Yeah.
That is just 100% when you lose.
Yeah. And we saw that in the first game. We got an example of that. Mm-hmm. Where just like when you're having to block with more cards, just like, this is miserable. Uprising. Oh my gosh. Doesn't it look good? Everybody's excited about Uprising, right?
Can we see that dragon one more time?
It looks so good. You want to pull up old Drokai Dragon Blood? Is that what he's called?
No.
What's it called? Drokai, Son of Dragon?
Let's see if that, I want to see if that event article's up yet. We're almost out of
Team
time.
Blitz. Who's going to Team Blitz? Is Jesse playing in Team Blitz?
I don't know. He's got a long way to go. So coming over again.
Well, I don't know. Come to Vegas.
Dracana Optime. Optimi.
That means optimal dragon in Draconic, by the way.
Does it?
Yeah. If you guys didn't know that.
Well, this article doesn't do
that one's
anything
for
yet.
free. You can have that one.
Carl saying I'm so hyped.
Yeah, it's crazy. I don't know what happened. It was like, well, I do know what happened. It seems like the Fab 2.0 announcement uncorked the entire marketing plan for Flesh and Blood. Like, they made that announcement, and then it feels like there's now all of this backlog of stuff that is kind of coming out, and the excitement is now massive. And the new set so far, it looks amazing. I think the art is, again, a step above somehow. The freeze stuff, like I said, and be careful. I mean, it could be really degenerate, but I'm here for it. There's degenerate stuff both ways, and so you just kind of have to...
I think as long as a number of those effects are tied to hitting...
Yeah. It's a Tails all this time,
that solves everything.
Right?
You can always block.
Yeah.
So if you are opting into the hit effect because you're choosing not to block, that is the exchange you want to see over and over again in Fab.
I love that. Yeah. I can't agree more.
Jesse is going, by the way, because I forgot. There's one in Australia.
Oh, right. Perfect.
That makes perfect sense.
Yeah, awesome.
I love a global... Like, it's just the perfect...
so cool.
That is the perfect thing for them to be doing. Absolutely love it. Can't wait. And I agree with you. I think it got uncorked. And it makes sense. Going to the first Pro Tour, going to the $1 million organized play program, big set of... I mean, it's like everything's rolling now, and it's really cool to see... I've seen a lot of publishers get to this moment and have no idea what they're doing.
Yeah.
And this is an extensive plan, well-funded, well thought out. Seems like they're firing on all cylinders and somehow making pretty much everyone happy.
Dude,
it's really impressive.
I know. It's like we've not been along for this stage of a game when it's not just effectively tanking as the plane is like on fire going down and you're trying to stay. Please just make some changes so we can keep playing this thing.
A lot of times at this point, it's just can they keep getting sets out on time?
Yeah.
And
make effects that aren't just compounding complexity and power creep.
How long is the pool of cards going to be exciting and interesting for players? And usually about right now is when the excitement starts cooling down from people because they've been playing for 2 years.
Yeah, in a big way.
And in the past week, I feel like the excitement has only increased from where it ever was from a player perspective, which is really cool. And I do think people are underestimating on the collectability side how cool this set's going to be.
Yeah.
Like the Marvel stuff, the cold foil legendaries being more rare, all that kind of stuff. So it's going to be great.
I was talking to my wife about Flesh and Blood, and it's hard to explain exactly how things work, but it was like, how's it going? How are things? And I was like, honestly, for the first time, I am watching a collectible game in front of my eyes stabilize where every other one that I've been a part of has completely crashed.
Right here. Right now.
Like you felt the tension, right? Like 2 months ago, 3 months ago, really even 1 month ago, Starvo's like crushing everything. Things feel very imbalanced. They're having to ban Dustblade and stuff ahead of time. And
you
it's
have the product issues with way too much product on the market.
Yeah.
Product being super devalued.
Unlimited is just like everywhere. And all of this stuff is happening. You're like, oh, okay, well, this is where it either is going to tank or stabilize. And it's like, man, they have stabilized in spades.
Yeah.
And now coming back in with Uprising and the spoilers and stuff, it's just like, let's go. I feel so much more excited about where things are.
And I think the key reality is that the stabilizing isn't happening as a reaction to that moment. So like Fab 2.0, the Pro Tour, the Organized Play program, this set being designed, everything they're doing it wasn't like a month and a half ago. It's like, you know what, we should really change this.
Yeah. It's been in the works for a while. Yeah.
And the capacity to pick up on those signals 8 months ago, 9 months ago, and be thinking proactively about these issues and coming up with a plan that actually serves and is designed for both players and collectors alike.
Yeah, only the speculators probably get the boot.
Yeah. And, I'll just say, I think one of the key factors is you have a company who's making a game, and this game is their entire lifeblood.
Makes a difference.
This is it. So 9 months ago, you start feeling something. You feel it. Because you don't have some other exciting thing happening for this other game or some new thing you're working on over here. This is it. You have no choice but to stabilize.
Yeah, no, 100%. Could not agree more. Wanted to finish things out. Justin, this is really, really interesting. So the 3 dragons, apparently, named Optimi, Domini, or Dominia, and Tomatai. Opt, Dominate, Tome. That's interesting. Thank you for sharing that. That's amazing.
Yeah, and the Opt is the one that looks at the top 3 and does Arcane.
Of course.
Reds, right?
Of course. So you imagine Dominate is Dominate, and Tome, what is Tome?
Drop cards.
Right. Think so?
That's what all.
Or is it like play tomes from places because you're a wizard or you're an illusionist and you have tomes of...
Interesting.
Dragon tomes.
I like the idea of dragon tomes.
All right, everybody. Hey, thank you so much for joining us, being a part of this. Hop on that Booster Box subscription if you're looking to get products. It's MSRP. No matter where prices go, closer to release, that'll be stable.
If prices spike up, it's not going over MSRP.
And exclusive promo for every booster box in your subscription. Those have been phenomenal, been super amped. Is there going to be something special because maybe there's a Phoenix thing in the set? I don't know. But if I were a Legend Story and I had a wonderful business partner and content team that loved my game, I would say like,
whose logo was a Phoenix?
You know what? Maybe we should just...
Yeah.
You can have that for free, James.
Genuinely, if you're out there and you're a subscriber or you've been buying our Majestic tokens and boards, thank you so much. We couldn't do any of this without you. Getting to hang out with all of you and play Fab on Tuesday afternoons for coming up on 2 years is just mind-blowing.
One of the great joys, yeah.
It's actually really insane. So thank you for the support, and we're very, very excited about the future of this game. So we'll see you there.
See you next time.